And, so far we've heard from Patrick Clancy. We've heard from two people that spoke with Lindsay Clancy over the phone roughly about an hour before her kids were killed. And we got to hear from the CVS manager who spoke with Lindsay on the phone and confirmed that they do have children's laxatives at the CVS store. And then also we heard from the hostess who worked at 3V. She took Lindsay's order. Lindsay was able to say that, like, hey, I want a Mediterranean bowl. No, I don't want the protein. And I want to order also the risotto bowl. And so, although the trial seems to be moving a little bit slow, we are absorbing a lot of information. And as the jury, it's a lot for them. This is a trial about three kids being killed, and it's not a light trial at all. It's a very heavy subject. I think that the defense focused a lot on how Lindsay was like before she killed her kids, the months leading up to it. He showed photos of Lindsay and her children, things that were posted on social media, the artwork that they were doing together, how just involved Lindsay was in her children's lives. But when we go back to the state keeps hammering in. How was Lindsay in January? How was she in January? Because although Lindsay may have been, suffering terribly in the months leading up to it, we kept hearing that after she went to McLean, after she, got help, and then she went back to Jennifer Tufts because things weren't working out with, Gelada, that it seems like things were a little bit better, right? And on the day that she murdered or killed her kids, it was one of the best days that she's had so far, per Patrick's testimony. So I think that, the theme with the state is they are going to really focus on January and the day that the children were killed. The theme that they're hammering over and over again to the jury was, was Lindsay able to speak to you clearly? Were you able to understand her? Right. And that did it seem like a normal conversation? And people were like, yeah, it seemed like a normal conversation. It seems like Lindsay was fine. So we're in day 3 right now. And, I was like, I'm gonna sleep in a little bit because the judge was like, we'll start around 9. I'm like, okay, that just means the judge knows that they're gonna not start at 9. It's gonna be like maybe like 20 minutes in. So they are gonna have a viewing tomorrow. They've already given notice to the current owners of the home where the crimes occurred, and they told owners that, hey, we're gonna come in. This is a court order, and we're going to come in and view your house. So they are going to do a viewing. Now, what's interesting is that the judge also said that they were going to go to some other places. So I'm like, I wonder if maybe they are going to drive to CVS and 3V. I'm not really quite sure where else they're going to, go do their viewing with the jury. So let's get started. We have a law enforcement officer that is testifying right now, witness number 4. So let's see how it is. Let me just go back a little bit. So the judge is going to make sure that no one did any research, read anything, saw anything. And let's get it started. Oh, by the way, we did do a recap on day 1 of the trial where opening statements took place and a large portion of Patrick Clancy's testimony. For days 2, days 3, I might mash it together, maybe even with day 3. Day 3 is going to be, day 4. Day 4 is going to be a shorter day because they're going to do their viewing. So we'll see. But I will do the trial recaps for you guys. So if you guys are not caught up or if you don't have time to watch these long streams, please go check it out. And then additionally, I do want to say I do appreciate, us all being here and having this really heavy conversation about something that's extremely divisive. But at the same time, guys, you have to make sure that try to show at least some sort of like sympathy towards, other people. Because while there are some people that do go through things that are very heavy, mental illness, there are people that never experience things like that. Or similarly, because this is a court case that revolves around children dying, I can see why people are very passionate that they want to have Lindsay to be held accountable for this. So, I really do appreciate all the conversations that we're having, and we have to be able to have these very important topics being talked about in the chat. So thank you so much for participating, and let's get started with the trial today. All right. So we're not too far behind because they just started about 10 minutes ago. And I think it was a good call to start late because I had an inkling that they were going to be late, and they have been late every day. So I think it's okay. Alrighty.
I hope everybody had a nice, restful evening last night. Thank you for your patience with us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you those questions, make sure.
So he's going to ask those questions to make sure that, hey, if you guys heard anything, did you see anything from anywhere on the internet? Did you talk to anyone? Is it going to bias you? No, you guys are all good. All right, cool. And then he goes into the scheduling, which I really appreciate because I hate it when we're watching a trial and we have no idea what the scheduling is like. I like how this judge is like, we're going to take a break here. We're going to take a lunch here. It's going to be 1 hour long. Although, they usually come back really late, which I prefer that. Having longer breaks during these long trials is completely fine with me, especially, them starting late and it's like super early for me. So I actually don't mind that. But he is going to talk about the viewing that they're going to have as well.
11 o'clock, we'll take a break at 11. We'll come back. We'll take our afternoon break at 1 o'clock and we'll go into the afternoon, probably, somewhere between 3 and 4. All right, so that's today's schedule. Tomorrow's schedule, as best we can tell, we're going to do that view sometime probably in the morning. We're going to go to a couple of spots that
a couple of spots. So where do you guys think that they're going to go look? The house for sure, but maybe the 3V and CVS? I don't know. I feel like that's unnecessary.
Mentioned in the testimony. Like I said, we'll go over it a little bit more tomorrow, but you'll be getting out of it. We'll all going together in a bus with the court officers, the staff, the attorneys, myself, and we're going to get out of the bus. So, that's just a word for the wise for footwear and to double check the weather. I'll go into that a little bit more probably by the end of the day, but just in case I forget, that's what we're going to do. And then the thought would be after that, we'll come back. We'll probably go again till sometime around in between 3 and 4. Okay, so that's the schedule. And then.
So unfortunately, they are going to come back from their viewing. So we are going to start Friday morning. I guess. Well, did he say they're going to go to the viewing right away? Because maybe it's not like we have court in the morning and then they go to the viewing and then we have to come back again for the court for the rest of the afternoon. Hopefully the viewing just takes in the all morning and afternoon and then we start Friday in the late afternoon.
At the end of the day, tomorrow, I'll address kind of where we are in regards to the timeline and this kind of overall schedule, just so you have some kind of idea where we are. All right, so with that, we're going to return to the case on trial. Commonwealth is presenting its evidence. Attorney Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth calls Officer Stephen Hall.
Good morning from D.C. Hello. How is it over there in D.C.? I love D.C. I miss it. Did you know D.C. is like the cleanest city in the country, apparently? I always took it for granted. All right, I'm going to speed up a little bit. So we're waiting for witness number 4, I believe. Officer Stephen Hall.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Just on the side of the testimony, we have just
All right, good morning. Morning. All right. So I'm going to ask keep your voice up so the jury can hear you.
Yes.
And with that, Teresa.
Actually, Judge, can you tell the attorneys to keep their voice up? Because sometimes when they walk away from the microphone, especially Mr. Reddington, the defense attorney, I'm like, Mr. Reddington, I want to hear you. Please speak louder. I know you have a loud voice because you start yelling out of nowhere in the middle of opening statements. The man was like, da, 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 da. I was like, oh, wow, he's a very passionate man. Okay, let's get more of that because I need to be able to hear you.
Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Stephen Hall, Stephenhall.
And your date of birth?
3/26/1983.
Where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a Duxbury police officer?
Since 2015, so roughly 11 years.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
I was.
What shift were you working?
The 4 to midnight.
And would that be 4 p.m. to midnight?
Yes.
And were you in uniform?
Yes.
Were you in a marked cruiser?
Yes.
And were you on patrol?
Yes.
And being on patrol, were you alone or with a partner?
I was alone.
Further directing your attention to approximately 6:11 p.m. At that time, did you receive a dispatch to go to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
I did.
Did you see the judge ruled on the Richin/judge issue? No. Wait, tell me about that. Hello, is it Caroline? Hello, how are you doing today? Let me know if I pronounce it right.
And do you recall
Spelled
approximately where you were when you received that dispatch?
I was at the Lincoln Street Fields in Duxbury.
And so how long did it take you to get from there to 47 Summer Street?
7 to 10 minutes.
And did you go to 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
And what did you see when you arrived there?
When I arrived, it was just a house. There was a gate open on the left side of the house.
I'll show you a few exhibits that have already been marked. Exhibit 32. And exhibit 33. Is this the house you responded to?
Yes,
I'm showing you exhibit 34. Is that the left side of the house?
it is.
Is that the left side of the house?
It is.
And exhibit 35 is the gate that you went in depicted in this exhibit.
It is.
You know, they're focusing a lot on this gate. Am I missing something? Because they were focusing on the gate, they were focusing on the fence. Just sometimes when the state was asking, or the Commonwealth was asking, you know, clarifying questions, I was like, oh, is this gate important? Is this fence important somehow? So it's tapped in my mind. But you guys, if you guys realize that there's something important about it before I do, please let me know.
First officer on scene,
I arrived simultaneously with Officer Josephine.
and is he also an officer with Duxbury Police?
Yes.
And so did you both head to that same direction, or did you go in different directions?
We both went to the backyard as we were dispatched to.
And you said you went to the left, correct?
Yes. We heard a male voice calling for us on the left side. So.
And that's where you headed?
Yes.
Okay. And did you encounter a male in the backyard?
Yes.
And did you later learn his name was Patrick Clancy?
I did.
What was his demeanor?
He was upset. Didn't know what was going on. So.
And did you see anyone else in the backyard?
No.
Okay. Did you see anyone on the ground?
Yes.
And who was on the ground?
Miss Clancy.
Is that Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And do you see her in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you point to her?
No issue with ID, Your Honor.
Record may reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Thank you. Where was she positioned?
She was on the ground if you were looking at the backyard on the right side.
Showing you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 38. Is this the back of the house?
It is.
And showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 37. Do you see the area?
So again, I mean, man, it's really hard to tell. I can't tell if there's shingles or I can't tell if it's blood, but there was a sort of a close-up photo, but again, like, I don't know, these photos are really hard to look at. This is the window from Lindsay and Patrick's bedroom. And remember, there was like a little ball right there that was for, like, I don't know, a woodpecker or something like that. Woodpecker be pecking at the house. And there was some blood driplets or drag marks, or we don't know what it is, that was right here. So again, you know, I think the defense was trying to push back on someone in law enforcement that said maybe Lindsay tried to slide down on the side of the house or something. And then there was also a clarification that this drop right here is not 20 feet. It's actually 12 feet, which I don't know if that is really that important. I think the state is trying to say that, oh, you know, did she really expect to unalive herself if she jumped from the second story window and it's only 12 feet? But I think the argument could also be made by the defense is that, oh, well, she was suffering from psychosis. Was she really thinking clearly that time, right? Or, you know, maybe jumping like that and you're landing on, let's say you land on your back, you land on your bum. It sounds pretty bad, pretty traumatizing. And we see the injuries that she has. It's not like she jumped and then she's like, oh, I have a broken leg, or, you know, I had like a fractured rib and now I'm fine, right? She's in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. They found her face up. Yes. Patrick also found her face up. I don't know if she rolled over, but I highly doubt it. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. We'll have to wait for their testimony. But I don't know if your spine being in that much damage, if you would even be able to have the power and the force and the will to even try to roll over. So my assumption right now is she landed on her back, landed on her spine. We'll see.
Where the defendant was when you entered the backyard.
Yes.
Do you mind standing up with the court permission and just pointing that out to the jurors?
So in this area.
And if the record could reflect, he's pointing near the window well to the far right side of the back of the house.
Record may reflect that.
When you saw her in that location, do you remember where her head was?
Her head was towards the house,
And where were her feet?
pointing out away from the house.
Are you trained in first aid as part of your job?
Yes.
And do you carry equipment with you in case you have to provide first aid to someone?
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about, so her head was towards the house and her feet was away from the house.
Pointing out away from the house. Towards the house,
And where were her feet?
pointing out away from the house.
Are you trained in first aid as part of your job?
Yes.
And do you carry equipment with you in case you have to provide first aid to someone?
Yes.
When you saw,
The other argument could also be made was if she had already taken the pills, if she had already, used the sharp weapons on, the sharp knife on herself, why go the extra mile and also try to leap out of your bedroom window? Right? I think the defense could make that argument. It's like, no, she tried this, she tried this, she tried this. She wasn't trying to fake it. But I think the state is trying to say that, oh, maybe she tried to slowly, carefully, slide down the side of her house and then she accidentally fell and like really hurt herself. But, when the jury looks at her being in a wheelchair, it seems like those are some very severe injuries. They don't have the full detail yet of what her medical report was and how bad her spine was. So maybe they just see her in a wheelchair. They're like, oh, why is she in a wheelchair? Oh, we don't know. Maybe she did get hurt. Oh, I wonder if she just has like, bad leg problems or something. But I think it was mentioned in opening statements, actually.
the defendant on the ground, did you go to her and observe any injuries?
She had cuts to both wrists and to the left side of her neck.
The cuts to her wrists, were those actively bleeding when you saw them?
No, they were not.
When you saw the cuts to her neck, were those actively bleeding?
No.
Did you, based on your training and experience, feel the need to provide any medical care to those cuts or use any of the equipment you had to tend to those cuts?
Not at that time.
Was she conscious?
Semi-conscious, in and out of consciousness.
And what was she doing that gave you that indication?
And Patrick said the same thing. Patrick said that her wounds were not actively bleeding. It was said on the 911 call, and that he didn't feel the need to put pressure on it during the call with the dispatcher.
In and out of consciousness.
And what was she doing that gave you that indication?
She would wake up and move around and then kind of just go still again.
And when you say she would move around, what parts of her body was she moving?
Just her head, really.
Was she able to speak to you?
She wasn't, no.
Was she making any sounds?
She was just, like, it sounded like she was in pain.
So something like moaning or something like that?
Yes.
While you and Officer Josephine are there, do other first responders, such as firefighters, start to arrive?
Yes, they started to arrive, and I went to the to gate to direct them where to go.
And how did you know they had arrived?
You could hear the sirens.
So you heard the sirens and went to the gate to tell them to come to that side?
Correct.
While you were doing this, did Patrick Clancy stay with you?
At one point, he went inside to say he was going to check on his children.
And did you see what entrance he used to go into the house?
He went towards the backslider.
Shortly after Patrick Clancy went inside the home, did you receive a call on your radio?
Yes.
And what did you hear on your radio?
Dispatch said that he couldn't wake them up.
And did you know what they were talking about when you initially heard that?
Not really, no.
Did something then catch your attention?
Yeah, I heard a loud scream from inside.
And could you tell where it was coming from?
Just inside the house.
And the screaming, was it words or just sound?
It was just a sound.
When you heard that screaming, what did you do?
Myself and Officer Josephine ran towards the slider and entered into the house.
And when you entered into the house, do you remember what room you entered into?
Into a kitchen.
And when you entered into the kitchen, could you still hear that screaming?
No. We could hear he was talking, but there was screaming was done.
When you said he was talking, who was talking?
With Patrick Clancy.
So you could hear Patrick Clancy talking at that time?
Yes.
And could you tell where he was?
Yes, he was in the basement.
And did you head to the basement stairs?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 41. Are these the stairs that you went to?
Yes.
Did you go to the bottom of the stairs?
I did.
Once you got to the bottom of the stairs, is it accurate that you either have to go right or left?
Correct.
Which direction did you go?
We heard Patrick Clancy talking from the right, so we went in that direction.
Could you hear what he was saying?
God. Do you mind if I?
You don't recall?
Yes.
I have no objection, Your Honor. You need to read further, I've never looked at this before.
Do you recall him saying, I can't wake them up, I can't get them up?
Yes.
And do you remember his demeanor as he was saying that?
He seemed very upset.
What did you do in response to that?
He came from a back room, so we ran into that back room.
Just going back to when you
Yeah, and when you're retelling a story like this, I mean, I bet the images are so vivid. You are basically reliving it, and the images are coming up in your mind again. So, like, yeah, he might be in law enforcement. He might see some things that normal people don't, but it's still really, that's a traumatic thing to find three very young kids dead.
came down the stairs and turned to the right, do you recall what type of room that was when you went to the right?
It looks like a workout room, like a workout area.
I'm going to show you a few pictures here. If you could just look at them and tell me if you recognize what they depict.
Also, I can't unhear it. She sounds like Louise to me. Not a bad thing.
Yes.
And do you recognize these to be photographs of that workout room that you entered into when you went to the right?
Yes.
We could have these marked as the next few exhibits.
Objection.
All right, those may be admitted.
All right, so we're going to see photos of the crime scene, but this is after the kids were vacated. Patrick did want to have these out from the public, but the judge did allow it in. Now, we're not going to see anything gruesome, I don't believe. I don't know. Maybe there might be a little bit of blood left behind, but I don't know if they're really going to show that. I think maybe they're just going to focus more on the layout of the room and then the workout bands.
4 exhibits. Exhibits 89 to 92. Sir, showing you exhibit 89. Is that the view when you first come down the stairs and turn to the right?
Yes.
And then showing you exhibit 90. Are those exercise bands there tied to the closet door?
Yes.
91, just a close-up of that, correct?
Yes.
And then 92, what are we seeing in this photo?
The bands that are tied to the door, I don't think those are the bands that she showed in the courtroom, right? I remember seeing like a gray one, and I don't remember seeing an orange and a green one. I wonder if these are different exercise bands. I think they are.
Photographs, sir,
That was the back room that he seemed to be coming from.
that Patrick was coming from?
Yes.
You also looked at 2 photographs from that room. Are those fair and accurate depictions of how the room looked that day?
Yes.
We could have these marked as the next 2 exhibits, please.
All right, they may be admitted.
Oh, let me take a-
Are those fair and accurate depictions of how the room looked that day?
Yes.
We could have these marked as the next two exhibits, please.
All right, they may be admitted.
Can y'all hear the Commonwealth okay?
Sir, did you head to that back room?
I did.
And what did you see when you got to that back room?
Just past the door on the left side, there was a body of a young child.
And do you remember what position the child was in?
He had his feet towards the door and his head towards the wall.
And was he on his back or his stomach? Or...
He was on his back.
And do you recall what he was wearing?
He was shirtless. I believe he was just in a diaper or underwear of some sort.
And showing you
Thank you.
Exhibit 93, if you wouldn't mind just pointing out where you saw his body. Record reflect he's pointed to the area.
I'm just taking a quick screen grab of this.
Of the yellow exercise band.
It may reflect that.
And sir, that yellow exercise band, did you see that in that position when you saw the body of the child on the floor?
Yes.
Exhibit 94 was with that position. Sir, did you later learn that child's name was Dawson Clancy?
I did.
And can you describe his physical appearance when you saw him?
He was discolored, like a bluish purple.
Do you remember what his face and neck looked like?
No.
What happened next?
I called for paramedics to come to the basement. I also called for a supervisor, and Officer Josephine picked up the child, and we ran him outside through the front door to the ambulance.
And did you do anything after that, after giving Dawson to EMTs?
We ran back down into the basement to check to see if we could find other children.
And what made you think there were other children to find?
When Patrick Clancy said, well, I can't wake them up, instead of just a singular.
And so when you went back inside, did you go back down the basement stairs?
Correct.
And this time, did you go to the left?
Yes.
Sir, showing you a series of photographs. You could just tell me if they clearly and accurately reflect how the left side of the basement looked on January 24th, 2023 when you went in there.
Right, just for the record, they don't need to lay a foundation. I agree to the photographs, no objection to any of them, so we don't have to go through all the
All right,
foundations.
thank you. All right.
Yes.
This defense attorney is just like, hey, let's just move it on. Move it along.
Please.
Man, if you're the jury, you know what's coming up in, the next, I don't know, next few days, next few weeks. And you know that the autopsy photos are going to be coming soon. And you must be, I don't know, they have to be dreading it. Like I mentioned before, it's not just one child, it's like times 3. I don't know. That's so tough. You can hear her okay? All right, that's good. I wasn't sure if some of you guys were on, like, I don't know, maybe like speaker. Maybe it's harder to hear them.
Exhibits 95 to 102. Mark.
Thank you.
Sure. Sir, showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 95. Is this what you saw when you went down the stairs and went to the left, that first view?
Yes.
and then showing you Exhibit 96. Is that a further view as you go into the room?
Yes.
Now, when you went into that room, what did you see?
There were 2 children on the floor, motionless, and EMTs and paramedics were working on them.
And did you later learn that those children were Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
Did you do anything to assist the medics at that time?
Excuse me. I asked if they needed any equipment.
And did they ask you to get some equipment?
They asked me to grab a heart monitor.
And did you do that?
I went and found the fire captain to ask where I could grab one, and he was pretty upset. So I ended up going back downstairs into the basement.
At some point in time, actually, if I could show you Exhibit 96 again and just ask if you could just point to us where you saw each child.
Okay.
So for the record, the first area you pointed to was in between the blood stain and the black exercise band, is that correct?
Correct.
And then the second area was over in front of that small nightstand or some type of shelving unit.
Yes.
At some point in time, did you go back outside?
Yes, they stated they need an officer with Lindsay Clancy.
And I'm going to show you a photo here outside near that window well that's towards the right of the house. Is that where Lindsay Clancy was, where that medical debris is?
Yes.
And just showing you another photograph. Is that just showing further to the right in a broader area of that same scene?
Yes.
I could have the close-up marked as the next exhibit and the broader photo as the following.
All right. They may be admitted.
It's 103 and 104. While you were out there with the defendant, were medical staff, paramedics treating her?
Yes.
And did you happen to look up?
Yes, I did.
What did you see when you looked up?
There was an open window with blood marks around the window.
And did you also see blood marks on the shingles below that window?
I did.
Showing you a photograph here. So up at the top, is this the open window you're referring to?
Yes.
It's hard to
And on the
see.
shingles here to the left and right, just below that window, are those?
Oh, I guess I can.
And on the shingles,
Yeah, when she points it out, you could see it. So she says it's right here where her fingernail is, and the other one's right there. Yeah, it's just really hard to see because the shingles are they're like a really dark color.
here to the left and right, just below that window, are those the blood marks you're referring to?
Yes.
And here in this photograph, you had mentioned blood marks on the upper window. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Oh, that's a better picture. It's really hard to see.
And then here at the top of the lower window, these marks here, are those the other blood marks that you saw?
Yes.
If we could have these photos marked as the next exhibits.
All right. They may be admitted.
You definitely think she tried to slide or tried to
While
stop
you were out
herself
there in the
last second?
backyard, did you see a ripped or, oh, I'm sorry.
Good morning. Hi, glass table girl. Hi, go lucky. I know it's so sad. It's a very devastating
While you were
case.
outside, did you see any ripped or torn screens on the ground?
No.
What did you do next?
I just went over to the paramedic, asked what I can help him with. He said she was good, but she kept taking her face mask off for oxygen, and so I just kept replacing it back onto her face.
And when you say she, are you referring to Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And did you then help them get the stretcher to the ambulance?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
All right. Reddington?
Thank you for your incredible service.
Thanks.
All right. Sir, you may step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Attorney Sprague?
Commonwealth calls Officer Brian Josephine.
All right. Officer Josephine, witness number 5. She could have went out legs first, which is why her spine was affected. She landed on her back.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you shall give to the court will be true and the truth, the whole law, and the defendant provides you with the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you, sir. You may be seated.
All right, good morning, sir. All right, counsel?
Thank you. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Josephine, Josephine.
And what's your date of birth, sir?
June 13th, 1990.
And where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a police officer?
I started there in April of 2020.
And did you work for the Plymouth Police before that?
Yes, I did.
And how long did you do that?
Almost 5 years.
What is your current role?
I am patrol officer.
Thank
Back
you.
in January of 2023, what was your role with the Duxbury Police Department?
I was the school resource officer for Alden and Chandler. I work with kids kindergarten through 5th grade.
Directing your attention specifically to January 24th, 2023, were you working an overtime shift that day?
Yes, I had picked up an overtime shift.
And what shift was that?
It was 4 to midnight, but I was scheduled to work till 8 p.m.
8 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you were scheduled to be there from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., is that correct?
That is correct.
And you were in a cruiser, in a marked cruiser in a uniform?
Yes, I was fully dressed in Duxbury Police uniform. I was in a marked cruiser, Duxbury Police 172.
And did you receive a dispatch at approximately 6:11 p.m. to go to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes, we did.
And when you say we, were you with a partner or were you alone?
No, I was by myself. We ride single in a cruiser there.
Okay. So when you say we, do you mean that it was dispatched to all officers on patrol?
So usually with critical incidents calls, they put it over to dispatch and they'll say, Duxbury police cars, start making your way to a certain address. That way everyone can get there as quickly as possible.
Okay. And so then you knew at that point to go to 47 Summer Street?
Yes, ma'am.
And approximately how long did it take you to get there?
I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes.
So you were relatively close by when you received the dispatch?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And when you arrived at 47 Summer Street, what did you observe?
Dispatch was giving me a description of the house. It took probably 15 seconds for me to identify the house. Parked in the street. I saw the number of the house and I made my way. I believe it was a mudroom that I went to.
Showing you Exhibit 33. When you say the mudroom that you went to, did you actually go inside the house or did you go to the door to the mudroom?
I went to the door to the mudroom to check if that was unlocked so I could make my way to the back of the house.
And is that door depicted in this photograph?
Yes, it is.
And is it the door to the left of the garage?
Yes, it is.
And was the door locked or unlocked?
It was locked at that time.
So what did you do next?
I radioed dispatch just for confirmation of where that party we were trying to get to was located. They told me it was around back of the house, so I tried to make my way that way.
And when you went to the back of the house, how did you get there?
Well, referring back to the picture where the car was parked, I went to the right side, and I went around the garage. There was a fence, and I went over the fence, I believe.
So showing you Exhibit 33, again, you went by these cars and around the house to the right.
Yes, that's correct.
And showing you Exhibit 37, does that mean that you would have been coming around the house over here by the garage on the left and in the porch, the deck?
Yes, that's correct.
Hey, lady. How's Arizona?
And when you came around there, what did you see?
I made my way. I observed two parties, one lying in the ground and one standing over it. And I started making my way towards the other end of the house, which is towards this fence, as you guys can see in reference to that photo.
And so when you say the other end of the house, are you talking about this area here, the father's furthest right two windows?
Yes, that is correct.
And the person that was standing, did you later learn that was Patrick Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And the person on the ground, did you later learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And at some point in time, was Officer Hall also back there with you?
Yes, he came from this side over here, the opposite direction in which I came.
So facing the house, he would have come around the left side of the house if you're facing the house?
Yes, he parked on the street and came from this side, the opposite of where I came from.
Okay. And do you recall what Patrick Clancy was doing when you first saw him?
He was standing over Lindsay at that point. It appeared that he was trying to communicate with her. I observed him with a cell phone. It was kind of down by his side, so I don't know if they were talking or what, but it was probably a split second, and then he turned in my location, saw me because I was illuminating the yard with my flashlight, and then that's when me and him crossed paths.
Okay. And so you said you saw him with his cell phone by his side. Was it in his hand by his side?
Yes, I believe it was in his left hand.
Okay. And you say you crossed paths with him. Approximately where did you cross paths with him?
It was probably right by the bulkhead, I would say.
And so in the photograph to the right of the deck is the bulkhead, is that correct?
That is correct.
And where was he headed?
He was heading, I believe, up towards the deck. Yeah, obviously I didn't know it at that time, but he was just walking past me pretty fast in an abrupt manner. So,
And did he say anything to you as he passed?
no, he did not.
And after you crossed paths with Patrick, where did you go?
I went to the female party.
And did you speak to her?
I attempted to.
And what did you say?
I just was trying to get basic information, where she was hurt, where she needed attention, anything I could do to kind of help her until fire arrived.
And did she respond to your questions?
She mumbled, and it wasn't a definitive answer.
Did you observe any injuries?
Yes, she was laying on the ground. There was cuts to her right wrist, I believe, and to the right side of her neck.
And were those cuts actively bleeding at that time?
They were bleeding, but not profusely.
Did you, are you trained in first aid?
Yes.
Did you feel the need to put pressure on those wounds immediately?
No. We also carry medical equipment, such as tourniquet, gauze, stuff like that. And I believe due to the circumstances that I didn't need to utilize those tools.
And the tourniquet that you carry, is that in case someone has some type of cut where an artery has been damaged or cut?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you're trained to recognize when it's something serious like an artery spraying blood everywhere versus a cut that doesn't need a tourniquet?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And you didn't see the need for a tourniquet?
I did not know.
And based on your training in first aid and as a police officer, as a first responder, did those wounds appear life-threatening?
No, they did not.
Did other emergency personnel from the fire department begin to arrive?
Yes, so I would say
I also want to know, what do they find in her system? Because she took some meds, she crushed it up, and she put in the drink, and then she consumed it, right? So I wonder, how many did she take? I wonder if the state's going to make the allegation, or sorry, yeah, I wonder if they're going to make the allegation that she tried to maybe timed it so that Patrick, I mean, they wouldn't, how would they have that information though? She wasn't wearing her Apple Watch. They don't have surveillance in the house. I don't know how they would be able to maybe see if she interacted with her phone, I guess. Because I wonder if they're going to make the argument that she tried to time it so Patrick would be able to find her before, an overdose happened or something. But yeah, I don't know. Lots of questions. Things that I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait for this, and wait for that. Tap for later on for other people's testimony. But I'm very curious. So, you mean the state is already trying to downplay her injuries. How many pills did she consume? And what were they?
I tried to talk to Miss.
Oh, and for those of you guys who are just joining us, good morning. How are you doing today? Hello, hello. Oh, you're gonna go visit the green chick babies today? Oh. We've only heard one other testimony so far, another police officer that works for Duxbury PD. And as he was testifying in the stand, he looked visibly very, very upset, and rightfully so. He was, again, breathing, and the microphone is pretty close to their mouths and stuff like that, and is picking it up. And I do have the sound boosted because I'm trying to hear the state, but you can tell that he was visibly just really upset, having to recall the memories of going down the basement and hearing Patrick scream and trying to assist with all the children that were down there. He also mentioned how he went back upstairs and was like, hey, can I help you with anything? You need to bring anything? I forgot who it was. I think it was someone that worked in, maybe it was like the fire department or something, but they were very upset. They were unable to go downstairs or something. So he was like, okay, I'll just go back down. But that's all the testimony that we've heard so far. And now we're listening to the second police officer. Didn't the defense claim she crushed up all the remaining meds before? We just don't know how much. I'm curious to know, was it like 5? Was it like 10? Was it 15? Was it 20?
Miss Clancy for probably 30 seconds to a minute. And at that point, coming from that opposite side of the house, I observed Duxbury Fire personnel show up. And our protocol is to kind of turn the medical over to them because they're more highly trained than we are.
Okay. And at some point in time, do you hear something?
Yes.
What do you hear?
Myself and Officer Hall were standing by that window, and we just started hearing loud screams.
And what did you do when you heard those loud screams?
We immediately were trying to figure out where they were coming from. I'm not sure if dispatch or something came over the air and said something about the basement, but we both just started making our way back towards the deck part of the house.
Did you go in through the sliding glass doors?
Yes, we went up the deck and through the sliding glass doors into the kitchen.
And did you then head to the basement?
Yes.
Okay. And could you hear any sounds coming from the basement as you entered the kitchen?
Yes, it was the exact screaming that I heard from the window.
And did you go down the stairs to the basement?
Yes, we did.
And did you see anything as you went down the stair after you went down the stairs?
So we went down the stairs, and there was a picture at the bottom of the stairs, I believe, of Lindsay and Patrick. And the basement splits off into two, a right and a left area. And the screams were coming from the right area. So that's where we directed our attention to first.
Okay. And did you see Patrick?
Yes. That right side opens up, and it's like 2 rooms, I believe. So we went into the first room, which was kind of dark, and there was some cluttered stuff around, and Patrick was in that back room at the time.
So showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 92. Is that the doorway into that back room?
Yes, it is.
And then Exhibit 93, is that the inside of that back room?
Yes, it is.
And do you recall what, if anything, Patrick was saying as you encountered him?
Upon his observation of us, myself and Officer Hall, he proceeded to head in our direction, leaving that room. And at that point, he looked up and he screamed, "She killed the fucking kids."
And after he said that, where did you go?
Once he cleared himself from the door frame, we were able to look inside the room where we observed what appeared to be a child laying motionless on the floor.
And did you later learn his name was Dawson Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And how was he positioned?
He was laying on his back, kind of close to the gym bag for reference of that.
Showing you Exhibit 93 again, you referenced a gym bag. Is that the bag to the left of the pack, the child's toy?
Yes.
And so you're saying that he was in that area when you first saw him?
Yes, he was.
And do you recall whether he was on his back or his stomach or something else?
He was on his back.
And do you recall his physical appearance?
Like I said, he was laying on his back. His head was tilted to the right-hand side. Looked at him kind of in the face area once we got closer, and his face was white, gray, lips were blue, eyes were bloodshot, looked like blood vessels were popped in his eyes.
Did you notice any injuries to his neck?
Seeing that, my first instinct was to kind of grab his head and tilt it to the side, see if I could get a pulse. But, I mean, based on my training experience from previous incidents, I knew it wasn't going to be good. So I moved the head. That's where I observed some red marks on that right-hand side.
Of the neck?
Yes.
And in that exhibit, 94, there was a yellow exercise band, correct?
Yes.
I believe in prior testimony, you may have called it a blue exercise band. Is that correct?
Yes.
But it's clearly yellow in the photo, right?
Yes, it's clearly yellow. I mean, there was...
Testing the color of the exercise band.
Right, good.
So what was your focus at the time?
the child.
And once you saw him there with these injuries, what did you do?
Based on my observations, I knew there wasn't really much I could do. So I picked the child up, went chest to chest, and as I did that, it was kind of like a mucus or a foam that leaked out of his mouth onto me. I grabbed him, went back towards the way we came down into the basement, and I headed up to the stairs where Sergeant Homestead was coming down the stairs, and I started yelling to him to get out of the way. Went back up the stairs and then into the kitchen directly adjacent to the stairs. There's the front foyer, like hallway, and I went out the main door into the driveway.
And was there an ambulance in the driveway at that time?
Yes, the ambulance was backing up and had pretty much just parked, and one of the fire was walking around to the stretcher out back. So I rushed over with Dawson and I put him on the stretcher, and that's when Sergeant Homestead and fire personnel started working further on him.
What did you do next?
I went back into the house.
And why did you go back into the house?
I remember hearing something about kids and multiple, and I just went back.
And when you went back in the house, did you go to the basement?
Yes, I went back in that front door, back down to the basement, and this time I went to the left-hand side.
And when you went to the left-hand side of the basement, what did you see?
Pretty much directly in my sight was an older female laying on the ground, and then in the corner there was like a younger baby.
And when you say an older female, you're referring to that she was older than Dawson?
That's correct.
And did you later learn her name was Cora Clancy?
I did.
And did you assist in treating her?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
So when I got down to the basement, 2 fire personnel were already on scene. One was working on the baby and one was working on Cora. Communicated with them. We worked together, and I took over doing chest compressions of Cora.
And were you able to see any injuries on Cora at that time?
Yes. She had kind of the same injuries that I explained with Dawson. The pale tint, bluish lips, bloodshot eyes, blood vessels popped. But this time she also had like dried blood around her mouth.
And did you also see an area of blood near her on the floor?
Yes, there was a relatively large area of blood on the floor. Actually, when doing CPR on her, I had her beside her, and that pool had seeped through my pants, so I ended up moving her a little off to the side so I could position myself better.
Just showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 97, this red brown stain on the rug. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
While you were doing chest compressions on Cora, what was the firefighter doing?
Oops, sorry guys, I thought I
The one
muted
that
the
had
mic. My nose is
previously
running.
been attending to Cora, then went to the child that was in the corner.
And eventually, was Cora put on a stretcher and brought out?
Yes, eventually. I think the baby was brought out first, because I think they mentioned at some point they might have found like a faint pulse or something like that. So they got him out first, and then we were able to get Cora up.
So that entire time while you're in the basement, are you still giving chest compressions to Cora?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it felt like forever, to the point where I think I radioed for assistance for another officer to come down.
And did others come down to assist?
Yes, Officer Cahill came down to further assist, where I continued with chest compressions, and he used a bag valve mask to give rescue breaths.
And a bag valve mask, is that something that goes over someone's face, a mask that's attached to a bag and you squeeze it to give air?
Yes, it's an alternative breathing apparatus.
At some point, do you go back upstairs to the first floor?
Yes.
And do you encounter Patrick Clancy when you go upstairs?
Yes, so when they removed Cora, myself and Officer Cahill went back upstairs, where I encountered Mr. Clancy in the kitchen.
And what was his demeanor in the kitchen?
He was still frantic, kind of in shock, still screaming and losing himself. And I think at that point, I don't know, one of us requested that we get an ambulance for him as well.
Thank you, sir. Nothing further.
Attorney Reddington?
I'm sorry, I have no questions.
All right. Thank you, sir. Lisa, thank you.
Hey, good morning.
Home calls PJ Hussey.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm objecting, renewing my objection that I filed on the repetitious
Right.
nature.
All right, if I can see it, Sarah.
All right, so I think that's a very long sidebar. Yeah, there's still a sidebar. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, so for those who are just joining us, we've only heard from 2 testimonies so far from Duxbury PD. And the first officer, again, when he was testifying, just seemed like it was very upsetting for him to have to relive it. And then our second officer today also testified. He was doing compressions on Cora, but, you know, being someone in that situation, you know, he did mention that when he saw Dawson, like he already knew that it was, Dawson was already gone. They are in sidebar right now, and there is an objection that the defense was renewing. We don't know what it's about. I think he was about to say it, and then the state was like, okay, let's just go. So I was unable to hear what the objection was about. But good morning, guys. How are you guys doing today? Now, scheduling, the judge did say that they are going to take their mini break in, I mean, honestly, like the mini break is supposed to be in half an hour. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but they're going to take their mini break. They're going to do lunch at 1 o'clock, and it's going to go to 2 o'clock. Although, you know, usually it's been a little bit late. So maybe 2:15, 2:30, who knows? But tomorrow they are planning on doing the viewing. So they are going to go with members of the jury, the court staff, the judge, the attorneys, and they're going to do a viewing at the house. The judge has given notice to the current homeowners, and he's like, we're coming on over. All right, it seems like they're back. Let me see if I missed anything, though. Let's see if they said anything. Now, if you guys haven't seen day 1 of this trial, I did do a recap
Back to the
video.
trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant and the 18 jurors.
All right. Commonwealth, ready to call your next witness?
Yes, Commonwealth calls PJ Hussey.
So feel free to check it out. I will do recap videos of day 2, day 3, day 4, maybe in like one video. So if you guys miss anything, feel free to check those out. All right, next witness. So they were in sidebar for about 20 minutes. It's a good thing that we started late today. Do we know about the make of the jury from anyone that's there? We do. There were people that were reporting in jury selection. Now, they didn't allow cameras during jury selection because I think, you know, I forgot what case it was where jury selection was on camera. Was it in the Sarah Boone case? I was like, ooh, I don't like that because, you know, you're not even serving on the jury and then people could hear the responses of your answers and stuff like that. Like, I was like, ugh. They didn't show the faces though, but you could hear the voices. During this jury selection, the judge did not allow cameras. Yay, no live stream, yay. But there were people that were reporting about the people that were selected. So it seems like, from what I've read, it seems like the age group skewed a little bit higher, like towards like maybe like retirement age. That's what I kept hearing. Now I haven't went through and collected all the data on all the 18 people that are there, but that's what I kept hearing.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury, no matter how coming between the Commonwealth and the defendant, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? have a seat.
Watch your step.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if the renewing objection by the defense was there was an objection made by the defense. Well, not an objection, I guess. It was like kind of like in pretrial. No, it was during jury selection. Yeah, pretrial. He did mention that he wanted to have one person from like law enforcement or from the paramedics to testify. He didn't want there to be like 5 different police officers to testify the same thing, you know, or like 5 different paramedics to testify the same thing over and over again. He just thought it was just too prejudicial for Lindsay for people to hear, you know, from so many different people that came across a crime scene, and it's, you know, it's very devastating. So I think maybe that was the objection that he was renewing. Like, hey, you know, can we just like not call like a million people? Let's just call like, you know, 1 person or 2 people. So maybe that's what it was, because now we're hearing from a paramedic.
Please.
I'm just guessing. I could be wrong.
All right, good morning, sir.
If I may.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
PJ Hussey, Hussey,
And your date of birth?
5/5/1963.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department,
And how long have you been a firefighter?
32 years.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes.
What's the difference between an EMT and a paramedic?
Paramedic has advanced life-saving skills, intubation, and medicine we can use on the patients.
And is there a certain type of training that you have to have as a paramedic?
Yes, every 2 years.
And to first qualify as a paramedic, what do you have to do?
There's a paramedic class that you take, upwards of 2 years.
So you take that paramedic class. Is there a test you have to take at the end?
A state test, yep.
And once you pass that state test and become a paramedic, you have to do continuing education. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And did you take that initial training, pass that initial test, and then pass all subsequent training to be a paramedic?
Yes.
And how long have you been a paramedic?
About 17 years.
What is your current role with the Duxbury Fire Department?
I'm a captain, which is considered a shift commander.
And in January of 2023, were you in that same role?
Yes.
What does a shift commander do?
Oversees the operations of the town as far as firefighting and medical services.
How many fire departments, or stations rather, how many stations does Duxbury Fire Department have?
Duxbury has 2.
And how far apart are they?
About 10 minutes apart.
And are they staffed differently from
Yes.
each other?
Yeah.
And how are they staffed?
At the central station, there's a captain and usually 3, and the other station, there's 2, just 2 firefighters.
And for Duxbury, are all the firefighters that work for Duxbury Fire Department also paramedics?
Not all. We have two EMTs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
The rest are medics.
I'm sorry?
The rest are medics.
And when you say medics, you're talking about paramedics?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. So directing your attention to January 24th, 2023, were you working that day?
Yes.
And what shift were you working?
My own shift, my group, shift 1.
And what is shift 1?
It's just we have four shifts, and I'm just group 1, shift 1.
Is there a certain time that spans? Time of day?
No, 24-hour shifts, 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock the next morning.
Okay, so you were working 8 o'clock in the morning on January 24th?
Yes,
And your shift would end 8 o'clock in the morning on January 25th?
correct.
And were you working in that capacity as a shift commander on the 24th?
Yes.
Now, do you recall a call coming in shortly after 6 p.m. Dispatching you to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes,
And did you respond to that scene?
we did.
And how many vehicles and personnel responded?
My car, the shift commander car, ambulance 1, and engine number 2.
And what was the personnel in each of those vehicles? Not names necessarily, but how many people?
We put, usually it's 2 in the ambulance, but because of the severity of the call when it first came in, we put 3 people in the ambulance, a driver plus 2 medics in the ambulance, and then 2 firefighter medics in the engine from the other station.
Okay, so that would be 6 people in total?
6 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you have anyone from the second station respond initially?
We all came at the same time. We all got dispatched at the same time.
So would that have been 6 people total from both stations or 6 people from the central station?
6 people total from both.
And when you arrived on scene, what did you see upon arrival?
There's a couple of police cruisers that were there already, just beat us in. And then we had to go up back to where the patient was located.
And when you refer to the patient that was out back, was that Lindsay Clancy?
Yes,
And did you head to the backyard?
yes,
And did you see her on the ground?
I did.
And were you personally treating her, or was it the other paramedics that
The
were
other
doing?
paramedics were treating her.
Okay.
Yep.
And what were you doing?
Just supervising the call, just make sure things are handled appropriately as a shift commander.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 37. Do you see the area where you were in the backyard that night on the screen?
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind standing up and just pointing where you were.
The patient was approximately right here. I was over here in this area here.
And if the record reflects, you pointed to the patient being to the right of the metal window well, and you were standing to the left of the window well. Is that correct?
Yeah, she was right below this window, so someplace she was right in this area,
Okay.
and I was just a little bit further over.
And when you said right below this window, you're pointing to the far right second story window?
Yep. Yep.
Merci.
Thank you.
At some point in time while you were standing there, did you hear a loud noise?
I heard a scream.
Scream. And when you heard the scream, could you tell where it was coming from?
It sounded like it was coming from the basement.
And did you look anywhere in particular?
Yeah, I was able to look through the basement window and able to see a male person downstairs.
And when you say the basement window, are you referring to that first
Yes.
Metal window
Yes.
well?
Yes.
That was in Exhibit 37. Just showing you, again on the screen here, what's been marked as Exhibit 50. This window here on the right, does that fairly represent the window that you looked through and could see down into that
Yes.
basement office?
Yeah.
And was the light on in the basement office when you looked in?
A light was on, yes.
And what did you see when you looked in the window?
After I heard the scream, I saw a older male gentleman, now knowing it was Patrick Clancy, unwrapping something from a child's head.
And when you saw the male unwrapping something, can you demonstrate the motion that they were doing?
Yeah, the child was on the ground. The head was towards the window, so the head was towards the back of the house, and he picked the child up, and he was in a circular motion, taking something off the head, around the neck.
And could you see the child's face?
Yes.
And what observations did you make of the child's face?
The head was blue.
And did you later learn that child was Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
At that point, what did you do?
Because of the severity of Miss Clancy on the ground, and now we have another patient, I put a all call in, which is a recall of Duxbury personnel, all Duxbury personnel, if they're available, to come back to the town to help out for when I need help on the scene, and I also need help in the town to cover the town while I'm busy at this scene. And I also requested a mutual aid ambulance to respond to the scene.
Because at that time, there was only one ambulance that was responsible.
One ambulance for Miss Clancy, yes, and then I called another. Seeing the next patient, I called another ambulance in.
Okay, and what is mutual aid?
Mutual aid is a shared system that all the towns use. That if we get busy or busy with calls, we're able to call help in from surrounding towns to give us a hand, whether it be fire related or medical related.
Does Duxbury only have one ambulance?
We have three.
But you only had one staff that night?
Yes.
That's crazy. So they only had one that night. I mean, obviously Lindsay has to go to a different hospital. The children have to go to a different hospital. It's like, how would you decide in that moment who gets priority of the ambulance? I don't know. These are just things I'm just like wondering, things that happen on the job probably more often than not. But
okay, so you call in for an additional ambulance. At some point in time, do you learn that there are two other patients,
Yes.
Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
At that point in time, do you have to do anything to call in more assistance?
Well, the recall for Duxbury personnel was already put in, so I called two more ambulances at that point.
And the scene that night, discovering another victim, was that a chaotic scene?
It turned very chaotic very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it a situation where people would start treating a patient but then have to move on to something else and someone would take over?
Sort of. I had myself as a shift commander. I had an EMT with me, but there's also 4 paramedics. So the way it ended up working, all the initial paramedics were with Miss Clancy in the beginning. And then when we found the other patients, we left a paramedic with Miss Clancy, a paramedic with Dawson, and then the 2 paramedics were with the 2 other kids in the other room.
And did someone eventually also have to be with Patrick Clancy?
Eventually, yes. Yeah, but at the time, there was nobody with him in the beginning.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. All right, counsel?
No questions. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. And the defense is in debate what happened that night in terms of what the law enforcement saw, what the paramedics
Attorney
saw.
Buckingham.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth would call Loring Nudd as its next witness, please.
Same objection for the record.
All right.
Lori Nudd. Oh, you know what? I forgot to check tweets, see if there's any other observations in the courtroom today. All right, guys, we're in witness number 7.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you should give to the court and the jury will now coming between the Commonwealth and the defendant shall be the truth, the whole truth.
All right, so he's being sworn in.
Please, counsel.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name?
My first name is Loring, Loring. My last name is Nudd, Nudd.
And do you have a nickname that you go by?
I do.
What's that?
Everybody knows me as Chuck.
Chuck.
Loring's a pretty cool name. I wonder what's the origin of that. Loring. I've never seen a Loring before.
And do you work, sir?
I do.
What do you do for work?
So I'm a firefighter EMT with the Duxbury Fire Department. I was at that time. I am now retired.
Okay, so when did you retire?
So I retired a year ago.
A year ago? Mm-hmm. And so how long had you been working with Duxbury Fire before your retirement?
A little over 30 years.
30. And can you explain what your role was as a Duxbury firefighter?
So if I was an EMT, which 80% of our calls are probably that related. So I would assist a paramedic, or I would drive the ambulance, or whatever was necessary at the time. And then we were also did fire suppression, and we were all trained in that and went to the academy and all that.
Okay, and can you tell us what the difference is between an EMT and a paramedic?
So a paramedic requires another year or 2 of training, and they're able to prescribe meds. I mean, not prescribe meds, excuse me. Give meds that they have according to what they need to do. They can also read the monitor that shows rhythms in the heart and what have you.
Is it fair to say that as an EMT, you're trained in basic life-saving techniques,
Correct.
while a paramedic is advanced life-saving techniques?
Correct.
And so at Duxbury Fire Department, is it also fair to say that each and every firefighter has that dual role of either being an EMT, a paramedic, and a firefighter?
Yes, some are. There might be one EMT, just a basic, where most of them are the medics but we're all firefighters too.
Okay. And in the town of Duxbury, does the town itself have its own ambulances
Yes.
in addition to the fire engines?
Yes.
And there's also ladder trucks, correct?
Correct.
Now, when you were working as a Duxbury firefighter, what was the schedule? How did you work your shifts?
So we work 24-hour shifts.
And then how many days on and how many days off?
So we'd have 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, and 5 off.
And a 24-hour shift, when did it start and end?
It was 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock the next morning.
So if I direct your attention to January 24th of 2023, you were still working for the Duxbury Fire Department then, correct?
Correct.
And were you on a 24-hour shift that day?
I was.
At some point during the day, were you given kind of what your assignment was for that shift?
Yes.
What was your assignment?
So that day, I mean, we all kind of float around a little bit, but we had a newer member that had made progress. He was an EMT and then made it to paramedic. So I was kind of what they called the backup guy. So I would do whatever fill-in needed to be done, and I would assist with them if necessary.
Okay, and so were you kind of assigned to the ambulance at the central station as that backup person?
I was.
And the person that you identified was kind of the newer employee. What was his name?
Paramedic Doherty.
And that would be Daniel Doherty?
Daniel Doherty, yeah.
And who was the other Duxbury firefighter that was assigned to the ambulance that
It
shift?
would have been paramedic Kevin Heath.
So at approximately 6 o'clock or just after 6 p.m., were you advised of a dispatch to a residence in the town of Duxbury?
Yes.
And where was that dispatch going to take you?
So it was going to take us to Summer Street.
And so you and firefighter Heath and firefighter Doherty, you all get in the ambulance?
Correct.
And do you go to 47 Summer Street?
We do.
Who was in the ambulance, who was assigned as kind of the driver and the tech?
So at that time, because we had heard, you know, what kind of call we had an idea of what call we were going to. The two medics sat up front and were able to converse while I sat in the back and again was that backup guy, more or less.
Okay. And as far as the nature of the call that you believed you were coming into, is it fair to say that the initial call had to deal with a female that had gone out the window, possibly a suicide?
Yeah, as I remember, it was a second floor fall.
At the time that you were dispatched to that location, did you know that there was any pediatric patients or children involved?
No.
Now, approximately how long did it take to get from the station, Central Station, to 47 Summer Street, if you recall?
I'm going to say 4 to 5 minutes.
And when you arrived on scene, were there already other emergency personnel on scene?
There were.
Were you the first ambulance on scene?
We were.
How about fire trucks? Were there any other fire trucks from Duxbury?
The fire truck, you could hear it in the background, but it wasn't there yet.
So is it fair to say that there were some Duxbury police cruisers that had arrived just ahead of you?
Correct.
Where did you go with the ambulance when you got to that address of 47 Summer Street?
So as we were pulling up, I could hear the two guys up front say, the cruisers are in the way of the driveway. So I said, okay, you guys take the call, meaning get out of the car and get out of the truck and get started, and I'll take care of the truck.
Okay. And so when you come to the address, are you able to at least pull into the driveway at some point?
Not at that point. Because I was in the back, I switched to the driver's seat. And at that time, I saw an officer coming and he was getting ready to move the vehicle that was in our way so that I could back in.
And so were you able to then back the ambulance into the driveway?
I was.
And were there
Switching back to law enforcement officers, I wonder if they didn't wear body worn cameras back then, because otherwise it will be kind of helpful to see Lindsay's condition when they found her and they were trying to like talk to her while she was on the ground. So I'm just assuming maybe we're not showing it because there isn't any. It's possible they didn't wear them back then.
there other vehicles that were not emergency personnel vehicles in the driveway?
There might have been some of their vehicles, but there might have been, but I don't really. I had enough room to put my vehicle there, and that's all that mattered.
Okay.
Loring means renowned fighter and famous in battle, old French and German roots. Loring living up to his name as a firefighter. It's a really cool name. I like it.
So when you backed the ambulance in, firefighter Heath and firefighter Doherty, what did they do?
They had already jumped out. Grabbed the gear, and taken off for the back of the house.
Once you got the ambulance secured in the driveway, what did you do?
So, assuming that they were going to need a stretcher, I started pulling a stretcher out of the back of the ambulance.
And again, you said you backed the ambulance in?
Correct.
As you were pulling the stretcher out of the back of the ambulance, did you observe somebody coming from the house?
Yes.
What did you see?
one of the police officers was carrying a child.
And so what did you do when you saw him carrying the child out of the house?
So at that point, the stretcher was almost out of the vehicle, and I said, over here, and he placed him on the stretcher.
Were you able to make observations of the child as he's being placed on the stretcher?
I was.
What did he look like?
So his face was blue, he had marks around his neck, and his body was pale.
And so once the officer, or first off, was the officer somebody you knew from Duxbury?
Correct. It was Officer Homestead.
Okay. And once the child was placed on the stretcher, what did you do after you
The camera panned over to Lindsay to observe her. Hi, good morning.
made that initial observations of him?
So we rolled it right inside so he could start doing CPR.
Now, as an EMT, what is the first thing you generally do when you're observing a patient or assessing a patient?
So you always look for response and you go for airway.
Okay. And fair to say there's kind of what they call the ABCs.
Correct.
Can you tell the jurors what that means?
So it's airway, breathing, circulation.
Okay. And in this circumstance, were you able to observe the child breathing on his own?
No.
How about, were you able to secure an airway for him?
Not at that time. We were still doing the preliminary.
And how about circulation or pulse or cardiac activity? Were you able to determine any of that upon your initial assessment of him?
At that point, no.
Now, after you are in the back of the ambulance, do other EMTs or other paramedics come and assist you with this child?
Yes. So when the patient was getting rolled in, I also yelled out to my captain, hoping that he was going to hear me, that I needed a medic in my truck because I needed him to know that there was someone in my truck. And I'm assuming someone heard me, and they then directed a medic to my truck once one appeared.
Okay. And so the medic that came to the truck, was that Keith Nettie?
Yes.
And that was not the original person who went to the scene with you in the ambulance, was it?
Correct.
Okay. And what...
Hey, Mila Gross, how are you doing today? Just coming in now. Who was this that they were talking to? This is Loring Nudd, a.k.a. Chuck. He's a firefighter, but he is retired since last year. So he's one of the firefighters that responded to the scene, and they haven't specified which child yet, but he worked with a child who was, face was blue, and they were trying to get the child to breathe.
What happened when you had the child in the back of the ambulance? What did you guys do to try to tend to him?
So we were doing CPR, and then there was he wanted to check the monitor, so we got the monitor out.
Okay. And with the monitor, what was the monitor supposed to be looking for?
Heart rhythm.
Okay. And so do you have to kind of hook that up to the patient in order to assess whether there's any activity?
Correct.
And those monitors that you have in your equipment, do they do anything more than just check for heart rate?
The paramedic can then look and see what kind of, not just a heart rate, but a rhythm. And then
if there is not a rhythm, does that machine help you to do anything to try to restart somebody's heart?
with a rhythm, with the rhythm that they gave us, they said, we can disconnect it, because they were concerned they needed the monitor downstairs too, or elsewhere.
And is it fair to say that at that point you're assisting the paramedic with their assessment and running that equipment and checking the monitor?
No, I'll allow it, but let's kind of move on.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Re-ask that.
Are you assisting the paramedic at that point to treat the child in the ambulance? At some point, do you leave the ambulance?
I do.
And where do you go after you leave the ambulance?
I bring the monitor down to the basement.
Are the other paramedics and the other responders still working on the child?
Correct.
And to be
Subtitles are working. Oh, never mind.
because
Suppose aren't
my
working
cap,
right now.
they said they needed equipment in the base.
All right, let's just give it a second. You know, it's been a little bit rough in Massachusetts right now.
When
I mean, they weren't crying.
and fair to say they were being treated by others.
Correct.
And so once you dropped off that equipment, did you go back outside?
I did.
And what ultimately was your role at the end of this call? What were you asked to do?
I was asked to drive.
So the ambulance that responded from Duxbury, that's ambulance number 1?
Correct.
Ambulance 1. Did you drive that ambulance to a hospital?
Correct.
Which hospital was that?
I forget if it was the Jordan or the BI now, but it's the Plymouth Hospital.
Here in Plymouth?
Correct.
And that was with Dawson Clancy in the back, correct?
Correct.
No further questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Tragic
Attorney
event
Rankin?
indeed.
No questions. Enjoy your retirement.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hopefully, Chuck, you don't have to come back and testify. Hopefully, you're done. But can you imagine being, let's say, like a firefighter in Los Angeles where, you know, there's probably a lot of crimes that are happening here. How many times do you have to come back after retiring?
Attorney Buckingham?
Thank you. The Commonwealth would call Keith Petty as its next witness, please.
Same objection, Your Honor.
How many witnesses have there been today? We are going through law enforcement, paramedic, firefighter. We are on witness number, I think this is going to be the 5th witness today, or the 4th. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. You solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury, no matter the outcome between the Commonwealth and the defendant, impartially, and true. Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Watch your step, please.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right, counsel.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name, please?
First name is Keith. Last name is Nettie, N-E-T-T-E.
And where do you work, sir?
I work for the Duxbury Fire Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Fire Department?
About 17 years.
And currently working for the Duxbury Fire Department, what is your role? What do you do there?
Right now, I'm a captain shift commander.
Okay. And are you a firefighter as well as a trained paramedic?
Yes.
At Duxbury Fire, you all work 24-hour shifts?
Correct.
If I draw your attention to January 24th, 2023, do you recall working a 24-hour shift that day?
I was at home.
Okay. And so what was the shift that you were working that week, if you remember?
I believe I worked maybe 2 days prior. I don't really remember.
Okay. So you were on a day off?
Yes, correct.
And how was it that you ended up being involved in the call at 47 Summer Street on January 24th?
We were recalled from via a pager and text message that there was an incident going on and that we were to respond.
So can you explain to us how that works?
So a tone goes off through dispatch that sends off a pager at our houses that alerts us. And then we also get text messages about the incident and then respond either to the station or to the scene, whichever they request.
As a Duxbury firefighter, are part of your responsibilities to respond to these recalls?
Yes.
Is it a voluntary thing?
Yes.
So if you were indisposed or unavailable when a call went out or tone went out, would you be expected to respond to the scene?
No.
But in this case, on January 24th, just after 6 p.m., you heard that call go out, correct?
Correct.
And so then what did you do when you heard the call?
I drove to the scene in my personal truck.
When you got to the scene, what did you see?
I saw police and fire vehicles, and then I walked up the driveway and walked into the back of the ambulance.
Now, when you arrived and saw police, so that was Duxbury Police?
Correct.
And the fire personnel that was on scene, who was on scene, if you remember?
I only saw 2 people on scene initially. That was Kevin Heath and Sergeant Homestead.
Okay. And Sergeant Homestead is a Duxbury officer?
Correct.
Now, was there a Duxbury ambulance in the driveway when you pulled up?
Yes.
And before even getting past that ambulance, were you asked to assist?
Yes.
What did you see when you came to the back of that ambulance?
I saw an officer, Sergeant Homestead, and Kevin Heath doing CPR on a child.
Had you seen how the child ended up in the ambulance, or did you come after?
I came after.
Did you then help take over with treating that child in the back of the ambulance?
Yes.
What was your initial observation of the patient? What did he look like?
Blue, white, non-responsive, not breathing, no pulse.
And this particular patient, did you come to learn him to be the child named Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
And he was approximately 3 years old?
Yes.
What kind of treatment did you and the paramedic Heath offer to Dawson in the back of the ambulance? What did you do?
We tried to start an IV, but then we also started an IO, which is kind of like an IV. Tried intubation, which is an advanced airway, medications, and continued CPR.
So an IV, that's just putting a needle into somebody and trying to pump fluids in medicine, correct?
Correct.
Tell us what an IO is.
An IO is interosseous, which is basically into the bone marrow on the lower leg.
So what do you do to try to enter an IO?
Usually we have a drill, but we had a manual one instead.
Jeez.
So what do you do with the manual drill to enter the IO?
You just twist, and then it goes into the bone.
And what bone do you attempt to do this in? And were you able to
Thanks,
enter
Valentina.
that IO into Dawson?
Yes.
What is the
Sorry,
purpose
here.
of the IO versus the IV?
If the patient has difficult access, which pediatrics do.
And in this circumstance, what kinds of medication were you trying to deliver through the IO to Dawson?
Epinephrine,
What's the purpose of epinephrine?
basically kind of helps to restart the heart.
And at this point, he had no heart activity.
Correct.
Someone on Learn, you know, chat last night said Patrick looks haunted. I thought that was a great way to describe him, that poor man. Yeah, I agree. That would be a scene you never forget. Yeah, my heart goes out to all the first responders who had to tend to the scene.
You also mentioned attempts to intubate. Can you tell us what that means?
So intubation is an advanced airway where you put a tube into the airway to secure it to deliver high flow oxygen.
Were you able to intubate Dawson?
Yes, Kevin Heath did.
And what do you do when you enter the tool to intubate?
You go into the mouth and you do a motion of pulling up to see the vocal cords so you can pass the tube through.
And what do you attach to the tube to try to increase the breath?
Oxygen and BVM, which is basically you're squeezing a bag.
So BVM would stand for bag valve mask.
Correct.
While you were treating Dawson and doing the airway, intubating him, giving him the medicines, were you able to observe anything about the area of his neck?
Yes.
What did you observe about his neck?
Dark red marks around his neck.
Now, all of this is happening while you are in the back of the ambulance with firefighter Heath, correct?
Correct.
And do you recall another Duxbury officer being present, Dan Doherty?
Yes.
Eventually, was that ambulance then sent to the local hospital?
Yes.
Which hospital did you guys go to?
BI Plymouth.
On the ride to the hospital, did you ever get a pulse for Dawson?
No.
Were you ever able to resume breathing using that method with the bag valve mask?
No.
The efforts to give him the medication, the epinephrine, did it ever do anything to start his heart?
No.
When you arrived at the Beth Israel Hospital emergency department, tell us how you transferred the care of the patient.
We wheeled the stretcher in. We went into the first room, which is trauma 1 and trauma 2. We moved the patient over to their bed and then transferred care.
While you were at the emergency department at Beth Israel, did you see another child from that same home come in?
I did.
And what department brought them in? What fire department?
Marshfield.
Did you do anything to assist Marshfield when they came through the emergency department?
I assisted in compressions when they were getting the child out of the ambulance.
And is that something that is ongoing during when you're trying to transfer care to the emergency staff?
Yes.
Being the father of the children at the emergency department that evening when you were there?
I did.
And you came to the pediatric Clancy?
Correct.
Of him at the
Sad. And yeah, just basically visually upset.
Did you do anything yourself to assist him when he was there?
I assisted to get a chair in case he needed to sit down.
And was that before or after the children had been declared?
I believe it was after.
Thank you.
All right. Attorney Reddington?
I have no questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Thank you.
I wonder if we're going to hear from maybe hospital staff next? Crime scene techs?
The Commonwealth would call Patrick Dwyer as its next witness.
All right, we're going through the witnesses pretty quickly. Patrick Dwyer. firefighter.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in the truth Take a seat, sir.
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Yes, Counsel.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Could you please tell the jury your first and last name?
Patrick Dwyer,
Can you please spell your last name for the record?
DWYER.
And how are you employed, sir?
I'm a firefighter paramedic at the Duxbury Fire Department.
And in what capacity are you a firefighter or paramedic? Do you have any supervisory roles?
No, I'm not a supervisor at the department.
Now, in your role as a firefighter and a paramedic, did you receive training for those roles?
Yes.
And how long have you worked for the Duxbury Fire Department?
It's in my 8th year right now.
I'm going to draw your attention to January 24th of 2023. Do you recall working that day?
Yes.
Were you on a 24-hour shift?
Yes.
And so that would be an 8 a.m. to 8 a.m., correct?
Correct.
At approximately 6 o'clock or just after 6 p.m., were you dispatched to 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
What was your assignment that day on shift?
I was working on the engine out of our Station 2
Where is Station 2 located in the town of Duxbury?
on Franklin Street.
Hey, Deborah. Alice says he's cute. I like his tie. I like the red orange.
When the dispatch came into 47 Summer Street, do you know approximately how long it took you to get from Station 2 to the location?
A few minutes.
Who was working with you at Station 2 that day?
Jennifer Stratton.
What were each of your designated roles?
I believe Jen was driving the engine, and I was in the officer's seat.
Now, at Station 2 in Duxbury, is it normal for just two of you to be on shift at that station at any given time?
Yes, correct.
And fair to say there are other firefighters and paramedics that are on staff at the central station, correct?
Correct.
And in this dispatch, you at Station 2 on the engine were dispatched to 47 Summer Street, correct?
That's correct.
When you received the dispatch, did you have any information that there had been children involved?
No, we did not.
When you got to the scene, what did you see?
When we got there, it was dark out. We started walking towards the house, and the other firefighters were there before us. And we were directed to go to the basement.
Before going to the basement, were you directed towards the outside of the house and then redirected to the basement?
We were walking towards the backyard, so I believe that's where the first person was located. So we were kind of making our way back there.
So I'm just going to show you what's been previously marked as exhibit number 34. Can you see it on the screen next to you?
Yes.
And so would this be 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
And fair to say you were on your way to the backyard on the left side when you were redirected?
Yes.
Did you ever make it into the backyard?
We went through the backyard to go into the residence.
But you were directed to the basement to testify?
Yes.
If you could take a look at that screen again, I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit 38. Can you see over here sliding glass doors?
Yes.
Is that where you entered the house?
Yes.
You indicated that you also went to the basement, correct?
Correct.
When you got into the house and went down into the basement, which side did you go to at the bottom of the stairs, the right or the left?
We went down to the left.
What did you observe when you went down into the basement?
We saw two children on the ground and the father sitting on the couch next to them.
So again, just going to show you what's been previously marked as exhibit 95. Is that fair to be the left side
Yes.
basement? And exhibit 96. Where did you see the father?
He was sitting on a couch or something in the area. Not sure exactly which one.
Did you also observe the children on the floor?
Yes.
How many children?
2.
What did you do when you observed the children?
We started CPR. They were in cardiac arrest.
Okay, and so which child did you work on?
The 5-year-old girl
Okay. Where was she located?
on the floor in that room.
So as far as looking at exhibit number 96, does that depict the area, general area where you saw the 5-year-old child?
Yes.
Where did you treat her? Where did you see her?
Right in that area. I can't remember exactly where it was.
Okay. in this photograph of exhibit number 96, do you see a lot of equipment?
Yes.
And I'm just going to show you exhibit 101 too, with some more equipment. Do you see all that equipment there?
Yes.
Is that equipment that was used to treat the 5-year-old child?
Yes.
Did you learn her name to later be Cora Clancy?
Yes.
While you were assisting or working with Cora, what was Jen Stratton doing, your partner?
She was with the other child.
Do you recall where the other child was in relation to Cora?
They're kind of right next to each other.
So again, showing you exhibit number 96, if you look to the middle of the photograph, there's a red spot on the floor. Is that a fair place where Cora was?
Yes.
And would the other child, the younger infant, was he closer to the couch or the bed area, or was he in a different location in the basement?
Probably more towards this side, I would say, if I can remember.
When you say this side,
Like
what do you see in the picture to depict where?
probably closer to the cardiac monitor.
Okay, and can you tell us which is the cardiac monitor? Is it here at the bottom?
Yes, that piece of equipment right there.
Camera panned over to Lindsay. Just looks like she has her head down over there.
And again, in exhibit 101, can you see the cardiac monitor a little better?
Yes.
Where is it in this photograph?
Right there.
Do you mind just getting up and pointing to it on the screen? So we're talking about this black bag that is sort of off-center of the photograph next to a blue bag. Is that fair? Is that?
Sorry, what was the question?
I'm just trying to locate it on the picture for the record. So you pointed to a black bag that's kind of off-center in this photograph, correct?
Is this necessarily important? I think it's already been hammered over and over again that they were trying to get a pulse and they couldn't. I don't know.
This is a cardiac monitor.
Okay, thank you. When you started to treat Cora, what were your observations of her when you came upon her?
I noticed she kind of looked like she had some burst blood vessels around her eyes.
Did you make any observations of the color of her skin?
That was kind of pale, bluish.
When you approach the patient, what's the first thing that you do to assess them?
I check for breathing, check for a pulse.
Did she have a pulse?
No.
Was she breathing?
No.
And when you're doing those things, are you able to make observations of the area around their face, like their nose and their mouth?
Yes.
In this circumstance with Cora, did you notice anything around her mouth?
Around her mouth? Not that I can recall.
When you are trying to assess her breathing, is there anything you do to try to resuscitate somebody or get them to breathe?
Yes, we would use a bag valve mask to help them breathe.
Did you do that for Cora?
Eventually, when we got the equipment down there, yes.
And were you able to use that device and get her to breathe on her own?
No.
And while you're utilizing that bag valve mask, fair to say you're in close contact and making observations of the patient's face and mouth, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that you're not sure if you recalled seeing anything around her mouth?
Nothing particularly that I can think of.
Okay. If I may approach.
Yeah.
Just going to show you page 9, and if you could read like 17 through 19 to yourself.
All right, refreshing his memory, I guess.
Does that refresh your memory?
Yes.
What did you observe in or around Cora's mouth?
That she did have some blood in her mouth.
Did eventually other emergency staff come down and help you with rendering aid on Cora?
Yes.
And fair to say, one of the things that you do is maintain compressions and CPR.
Yes.
And can you do that by yourself, or do you often have to have somebody help?
No, we usually have multiple people working.
And in this circumstance, with the treatment of Cora, other people came in and helped you with those things?
Yes.
Were you eventually able to prepare her to leave the basement area?
Yes, once we get more first responders down there.
And fair to say there was first responders from other departments that came and helped prepare to bring Cora out of the basement, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall how she left the basement?
We took her out of the basement on a backboard up the bulkhead stairs.
And the firefighters that were assisting putting on the backboard, do you remember where they were from, what town?
Marshfield.
When Cora was placed into an ambulance, do you remember what ambulance she was placed into?
Marshfield ambulance.
Did you continue to help assist them when she was put in the ambulance?
Yes, I went to the hospital with them.
And do you remember who the firefighters were that were from Marshfield that were helping you?
Yes, Andrew Wilkins, Ryan Henry, and Kerry Carver.
And fair to say Andrew and Ryan were in the back of the ambulance with you, correct?
Yes.
And Kerry was driving?
I believe she was in the back also.
Okay. At some point, somebody hopped in the front seat and drove?
Yes.
And when you got to the hospital, which hospital did you transport to?
Beth Israel, Plymouth.
Were efforts continued to be made in that transport from Duxbury to Beth Israel and Plymouth?
Yes.
While inside of the ambulance, did you try to use one of those cardiac machines to shock or defibrillate Cora?
Yes.
Was there any result for that?
We shocked once but did not regain pulses.
And when you got to the hospital, did you transfer care to the emergency staff at Beth Israel?
Yes.
And did you do anything further on the care and treatment of Cora?
Not once we transferred care, no.
Anything further?
Mr. Reddington?
No questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You may sit down.
Thanks.
All right, who is next? So far, we've heard. Oh, you know what? I think after this, maybe before they do their little mini break, I'll show you guys about the explosive, heated moment that happened in court before the trial started, and it was when the defense objected to having so many people testify about the scene over and over again. And I forgot which prosecutor it was. I got really fired up about that. I was like, "You tell me which shot, doesn't matter." Like, ooh, Jesus. And the judge was like, "Hey, okay, all right, we need to lower the temperature over here." All right, so I think we've heard from 2 police officers and 4 paramedics so far. But it's because there's 3 children, and each paramedic attended to each child separately.
Attorney Sprague?
Follow-up calls Jennifer Stratton.
Brittany, I think from what I remember, I think they were face down.
Same objection.
Hey, good morning. All right. I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up so the jury can hear you, okay? Great, thank you. Yeah, Attorney Sprague.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, Jennifer Stratton, JENNIFERSTRATTON.
And your date of birth?
July 11th, 1986.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department.
And how long have you been a Duxbury firefighter?
12 years.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes.
And how long have you been a paramedic?
About 13.
And have you completed all the training and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
And were you working a 24-hour shift that started at 8 a.m.?
Yes.
And were you part of a crew that was dispatched to 47 Summer Street just after 6 p.m.?
Yes.
And who was with you in that crew?
Firefighter Patrick Dwyer was with me in the engine that night.
And approximately how long did it take you to get from the station you were located at to 47 Summer Street?
Maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
And were you driving?
I was driving that night.
What did you see when you arrived?
Pulled up to the address, saw our ambulance crew. They had arrived just before we did. They were starting to walk to the back of the house.
And did you follow?
Yes.
And what did you see in the backyard?
Came to the backyard, saw a
Oh, are we going to hear about Callan, the baby next?
firefighter, Dan Doherty, kneeling next to a person. It was very dark. Ended up being Miss Clancy. That was all we saw for a few seconds.
And at that point, did you hear something?
We did. Heard a voice yelling for us to get inside of the house, that there was a kid hanging in the basement.
And did you go into the house?
We did.
And what entrance did you go in?
Through the slider doors in the rear.
And did that lead you into the kitchen?
Yes.
And then did you proceed to the basement?
Yes.
When you got down to the basement, down the basement stairs, would it be accurate to state that you can either go right or left?
Yes.
Which direction did you go?
We took a left.
And what did you see when you went left?
We took a left and we saw Callan and Cora face up on the ground.
And when you saw them, what did you do?
I immediately jumped on the radio to ask for 2 additional ambulances, that we needed more help, and Patrick ran to Cora and I went to Callan.
And
showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 100.
is this the room that you entered?
Yes.
And where was Cora, to your memory?
Cora was just to the left in this picture, and Callan was just to the right.
And when you say just to the left, are you putting over towards the equipment against the wall in the picture?
Yes.
And when you say to the right, are you pointing to the area to the right of the dresser?
Yes.
And showing you Exhibit 98, is that the area where Callan was found?
Yes.
And close up, Exhibit 99, you see the pajamas there, the stethoscope, and the blue exercise band?
Yes.
Do you recall removing Callan's pajamas to treat him?
I did, yes.
So when you went over to Callan, you remove his clothing. What do you do after that?
I didn't remove his entire onesie right away. Made sure that checked him for a pulse. He did not have one. Immediately started chest compressions on him.
Now, for this is an 8-month-old baby,
Yes.
correct? Is the way you do chest compressions for a baby different than other people, other ages?
Yes, because of the size, you have to scoop your arms around and you compress with your thumbs in the stomach.
I'll allow it.
So you said you have to put your hands underneath on the back of the child and then use your thumbs to do compressions?
Yes.
And is that what you did for Callan?
Yes.
And what did you do next?
Continued CPR on him until more help and hands started to arrive on scene. We had an off-duty firefighter, Tom Brandt, come in, and he started to assist me. He took over compressions briefly while more help started to arrive.
When Brandt took over chest compressions, what did you do?
At that point, someone had brought down a bag valve mask to help us deliver oxygen to the child, and we started delivering oxygen to the child.
And at some point, did you remove the pajamas completely?
Yes.
And when you removed the pajamas completely, was that so someone could attempt to get IO access through the baby's legs? And was that successful?
That was not successful, no.
Is that difficult to do with a child that age?
It's a little more difficult. It's a less frequent practice skill, but
Were multiple attempts made to get the IV and access into the bone in Callan's leg?
I attempted once, and another provider attempted a second time. I don't remember who that was.
From Patrick's testimony, he mentioned that both Corey and Callan, Cora was found face down, and Callan was in the same position. Dawson, it wasn't clarified, or at least I don't have it in my notes.
And neither attempt was successful? What did you do next? Oh, what was your answer?
For which
I'm sorry.
part?
Was either attempt successful?
No.
What did you do next?
Eventually, Kingston Fire arrived on scene to provide the ambulance for transport for Callan. I don't know how long we were in the basement for, but we did make the decision eventually it was time to get moving to the truck and start going to the hospital.
While you were working on Callan, did you notice any injuries on him?
Yes, he had deep strangulation marks around the entire circumference of his neck.
And throughout the entire time that you're in the basement, are chest compressions being done, and you're trying to assist him with breathing?
Yes.
Did he, in the home, ever regain a pulse or the ability to breathe?
No, he did not.
Was he eventually taken to the ambulance?
Yes.
And how was he removed from the basement and brought to the ambulance?
I scooped him up in my arms and carried him outside to the truck.
And did you go with him in that transport to the hospital?
Yes.
And at any point in time, did he regain?
Can the team stipulate a fact rather than have repetitive testimony? I mean, if you're at the state, you're going to want to have different people testifying about just how terrible the scene was. The defense wanted to have, I think, like one person to testify about the crime scene, but there was an argument made by the state, a very fiery one, which I'll show you guys later on. But each paramedic firefighter attended to each separate child. So they wanted to make sure each child's, each person that attended to each one, that they're going to be able to speak about their experience and what they saw and how they tried to intubate or how they tried to, get a pulse, but were unable to.
Gain the ability to breathe or heartbeat during that transport?
No, he did not.
Was care transferred to medical staff at Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth?
Yes, they were.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Rington? You may step down. Thank you.
Commonwealth calls Robert Costanzo.
So, I mean, at least we're going through this fairly quickly, and she's not like, trying to spend too much time. There are some parts where she's asking about like medical equipment and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if we really need to get into that much detail. Like, oh, where was it found? Where is it in this picture? Show me where it is. I actually really thought she was going to keep hammering over and over again what position Lindsay was in by the window.
Reverse the side, please.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this one is just a tough one because there's 3 victims who are dead. All right, so I think they're in sidebar right now. In the meantime, I can pull up the very the very fiery exchange that happened last week. I think this is the video. Okay, so this is what we're watching. Hit pause.
Lindsay Clancy breaks down.
I think it was somewhere in here. Okay. Let's go. This is when they were making their argument. Choose victims. Yeah, right around here. Let me just watch the video.
Stephen Hall, there's a Duxbury Police Department officer, saw the defendant, heard screaming in the basement. Duxbury Police Department heard another individual heard screaming in the basement, went in, saw the kids in the basement.
We stopped the soundbite there, but Reddington goes on to list 17 different first responders from various agencies, all on the Commonwealth's witness list.
So that was what was presented to the grand jury, and is what, from what we can see, is what the government would try to present at this trial. And I suggest to the court, without sounding as though I'm trying to minimize the horror of what transpired here, and what these good employees of the municipalities had to endure and see, and probably to this day are suffering post-traumatic stress from it. Legally and objectively, I suggest to Your Honor that it serves no purpose other than to inflame or try to inflame the passions of the jury.
So while he's acknowledging, how traumatic it is and, acknowledging the services of the first responders, it's good that he gave that preamble because at the end of the day, he is her defense attorney and he is going to consider her rights and argue that, hey, I have to consider my client and this is, it could be seen as prejudicial. If we hear from, 17 different people that are going to, basically testify almost the same thing, but the state is going to fire back.
One right after the other, offering them water, offering them time to gather themselves. And it may have worked in the grand jury, but it shouldn't work in a jury trial.
When it's time for the Commonwealth to respond, things get tense all over again.
Here, unfortunately, we have 3 victims. So that multiplies those witnesses by 3. We also have the defendant herself, who was treated at the scene So then that's a fourth multiplier. Then you also have Patrick Clancy, who was so devastated upon finding his children in the manner that he found them, that he was in an awful state and had to be brought to the hospital as well.
So I'm like, okay, it makes sense what she's arguing.
So that's multiplying the people here by 5. Now, when the first responders arrived at the home that night, they thought they were responding to one victim, the defendant. Then they found out that the children were there, and they found them in the state that they were in, and it was a chaotic scene. They're asking for more help. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to treat these children, and so there's a lot of handing off. People start CPR. People move on to another child when someone else arrives who's better equipped to deal with, say, a baby versus a 5-year-old. And so we have multiple people working on these children trying to save their lives and then get them to the hospital and get them treated, and unfortunately, none of them survived. But the Commonwealth did not choose the number of victims, the defendant did. The Commonwealth did not choose the ages of the victims, the defendant did. The Commonwealth did not choose the horrific nature in which they died, the defendant did. It is not the Commonwealth putting on a circus or a parade, it's the Commonwealth presenting the evidence in this case to prove that the defendant killed those children in the manner in which they were killed. Now, if defense would like us to reduce some of these witnesses, that would mean not talking about one of the children. So if he would like to tell me which of these children don't matter.
You know what? I'll tell you.
So I was following on with her, and I was like, oh, man. Now it's about to get real dramatic over here.
One of the children. So if he would like to tell me which of these children don't matter.
You know what? I'll tell you. We don't need that. All right? We don't need that.
Lindsay Clancy.
So that happened last week after jury selection. All right, let's see if they are. Oh, they are back in court. Let's go back to court. All right, they are swearing in witness number 11.
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning.
If I may.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
It's Robert Costanzo, Costanzo.
And your date of birth, please.
4/24/1985.
Where do you work?
Pembroke Fire Department.
And how long have you been a Pembroke firefighter?
I've been there since 2011.
And are you also a paramedic?
I am.
How long have you been a paramedic?
I've been with Pembroke since 2011, and I started in EMS in 2006.
And have you done all the training and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
And were you working an overtime shift that day?
Yes.
What was your role on that shift?
I was assigned to the ambulance.
And at some point after 6 p.m. that day.
Sometimes when I'm watching this, I'm like, do I have it sped up? Because they speak really fast in Massachusetts, which I can appreciate.
Was there a call put out by Duxbury Fire Department for mutual aid?
Yes.
And being members of the Pembroke Fire Department, did you respond to that request for mutual aid?
Yes, we did.
Who responded?
It was me and my partner.
Who was your partner?
Dan Smith.
And did you go in an ambulance or some type of engine?
An ambulance.
Okay. And did you respond to the area of 47 Summer Street?
Yes, we did.
And approximately how long did it take you to get there?
Between 5 and 8 minutes.
When you arrived, what did you see?
There were multiple pieces of equipment, other ambulances, police cars.
When you arrived, were you directed to the backyard?
Yes.
And did you see a patient there in the backyard?
Yes, we did.
And where was she located?
She was on the ground with a Duxbury firefighter. She was already C-spined on a longboard with a collar. She was unresponsive but breathing on the ground.
And did you learn her name was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And when you say she was already on a board with a C-spine, what type of equipment are we talking about?
Oh, okay. So he's going to be the paramedic that tended to Lindsay.
And if you could just explain to the jurors.
So it's just a long flat board that we use to secure people when there's possible spinal injury. And she already had the collar on her neck. They had already started treatment prior to our arrival. So they had her all secured to the long backboard with the collar applied.
And did you notice anything about her wrists at that time?
Yes, her wrists were bandaged previously, assuming some kind of injury. There was no active bleeding or anything through the bandage. It was just, but her wrists were bandaged.
Was it white bandaging?
Yes.
And so nothing was seeping through to your eye? Did you see anything on her neck area?
She had some superficial lacerations that we could see around the collar, but we don't typically remove equipment after it's already been placed. So I didn't investigate any further than that. There was no active bleeding that I could see, so we just left it alone.
So there was, even with the collar, there was nothing, no blood flowing out of the collar or pooling around her or anything like that?
Correct.
Hey, I can completely understand that, you guys are very upset that a defense attorney would say, hey, you know what? We don't want to hear the same testimony over and over again from paramedics, law enforcement officers, firefighters. So that is completely understandable. But, at the end of the day, Lindsay's defense attorney is always going to try to push as much as he can to see what can he get out of court for the best interests of Lindsay. But I get it, because the state attorney was very upset and she was like, you tell me, which child doesn't matter? Whose testimony do you want me to not bring up? Because if we're skipping testimonies, we might not hear about how Cora was treated or Callan was treated or Dawson was treated, right? So I understand what was going on with both sides, and I understand why, people would be really upset with why he was asking that. But he's got to try. Got to try. At the end of the day, he's there to protect Lindsay's rights.
Was she breathing?
She was.
Was she responsive?
No.
Was she making any noise at all?
She was moaning and groaning, but no words, no verbal response.
Did you bring her to your ambulance?
Yes, we did.
And when you got to the ambulance, what was your role?
I was the tech in charge, so we did as much of an assessment as we could without removing her from the board to look for any further injuries. Other than the injuries that the Duxbury Fire Department had already found, we didn't find any further injuries. And then we continued with treatment, vital signs, and such.
When you did the assessment, did you look at her head?
Yes.
Were there any cuts or bumps or dents that you noticed in her head?
Not that we noticed, no.
What about her arms, other than the bandaging on her wrists? Were there any cuts, obvious broken bones or injuries to her arms or her hands?
No obvious broken bones or anything, no.
And you said you were the tech. What does that mean?
I was the medic that was in charge. It's one or the other. You're either assisting the medic that's in charge or you're the medic in charge. Okay. So I was the medic in charge.
Now, I know the prosecution is hammering over and over again that Lindsay's wounds were not actively bleeding. Yes, she was moaning and groaning. And no, there's no obvious broken bones. And yes, the fall was only 12 feet high. I think it's going to be really hard for the jury to ignore that Lindsay is in a wheelchair and that she's going to be in that wheelchair for the rest of her life. So it would be very interesting to hear from an expert who might say that, like, hey, if you're falling from like 6 feet, 10 feet, then yeah, like, you could still sustain these very harmful injuries to your spine. So I am looking forward to hearing about that because I've never broken a bone before. And, I'm glad I've never did, but now I got to say knock on wood because maybe I will next week. But it'd be very interesting to hear is that, even though this is from the state, by the way, like even though if, Lindsay tried to minimize her jumping out of the window, that was still possible for her to get these severe injuries and be paralyzed for the rest of her life. Because again, if I'm the jury, I'm like, well, she is in a wheelchair and it seems like, she had these really severe injuries. So you could only imagine that maybe she did jump to the point where like, maybe she jumped out the window, gained some extra height, and then landed on her back. Or did she try to Spider-Man down the window and accidentally fell and hurt herself? I don't know.
Was anyone else in the back of the ambulance with you treating Ms. Clancy?
Yes, my partner, Dan Smith.
Who was driving the ambulance, if you recall?
It was our deputy chief, Jim Shea.
And do you recall which hospital you went to?
South Shore Hospital.
While you're, let me ask you, how long approximately did it take you to get from 47 Summer Street in Duxbury to South Shore Hospital?
It's typically from Pembroke, it would be about 15 minutes, so it would be a little bit longer than that. I'm not sure the exact time, so probably maybe 18 minutes.
Okay. And while you're in that transport in the back of the ambulance, after you've done this examination of Lindsay Clancy to see if there are any other injuries, what do you do next?
So we would start treatment. So we started put in 2 IVs as a precaution. and any other treatment that was needed. So we noticed that her pupils were constricted, and she was unresponsive. So we treated for a potential opioid overdose. We gave 2 milligrams of Narcan, and she seemed to become a little bit more agitated, trying to grab, reaching out with her arms, but no verbal communication. She never fully woke up.
And have you given Narcan to individuals in the past in your role as a paramedic?
Yes, I have.
What is the typical reaction when you give a patient Narcan?
It depends on the drug that they took or the amount of drugs that they took, but depending on what they take, their respirations will go up, their pupils will get a little bigger. Sometimes they fully wake up.
We know who they are, who's referred to.
I think the prosecution needs an expert show that doesn't take much damage to the spine and be paralyzed. Yeah, I mean, that would probably help their case. But there was, when I was reading the injuries that she sustained from the police search warrant application, I think it was mentioned that one of the pieces was it seemed like it was completely obliterated, shattered, yikes. Also them giving her Narcan, very curious to see how much medication she had in her system, in terms of the pills that she crushed and consumed.
The patient.
Yeah. All right.
Go back a little bit.
Their respirations will go up, their pupils will get a little bigger. Sometimes they fully wake up.
We know who they are, who's referred to.
The patient.
Yeah. All right.
Is that the defense attorney? Do we not need speaking objections, or are we just gonna start talking? He's been doing that, so I guess they're completely fine with it.
And you were referring to patients that you've dealt with in the past in your role as a paramedic, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And so they would often wake up when given Narcan?
Yes.
Okay. And what type of drugs, based on your training experience, does Narcan work on?
We're trained to use it for opioid overdoses, so heroin, fentanyl, other drugs like that.
Okay. And does Narcan typically work on benzodiazepine?
We are not trained to use it for anything other than opioids.
Okay. And when you gave Lindsay Clancy the Narcan, she did not wake up, correct?
No.
Oh, interesting. Benzodiazepine. So my hunch is that the state is trying to say that Lindsay was addicted to benzos. She was shopping for doctors to get benzos. Although Patrick's testimony says otherwise. It was mentioned in the police report in his first interview at the hospital that he said that Lindsay had felt like she was getting addicted to the benzos and was trying to wean off of it. And then when she went to a different healthcare person, she did not want the benzos. She wanted to, not be taking this thing that was so addicting. So I don't know if the state is still, my hunch is that they're pushing that, oh, she is addicted to these benzos, and that's why she was not responsive to the Narcan that was given to her. Maybe. Thoughts?
Did you provide any other care to Lindsay Clancy on the way to the hospital?
Just continued to monitor her vitals and make sure there was no decline.
And once you arrived at the hospital, did you transfer her care to the hospital staff?
Yes, we did.
No other questions?
All right. So you're not trained in Narcan on benzodiazepines, is that correct?
Yeah, we don't give it for benzodiazepines.
And in any event, when you gave Narcan to the body that was laying on the ground, she had already been wrapped up on her wrist, right?
That's correct.
Already been wrapped up, had the thing on the neck to prevent the head from moving, right?
That's correct.
And also it had
the what now?
And once you arrived at the hospital, no other questions?
You speak so fast in Massachusetts.
You're not trained in Narcan on benzodiazepines, is that correct?
Yeah, we don't give it for benzodiazepines.
And in any event, when you gave Narcan to the body that was laying on the ground, she had already been wrapped up on her wrist, right?
That's correct.
Already been wrapped up, had the thing on the neck to prevent the head from moving, right?
That's correct.
And also had bandages perhaps on her neck area, I'm not sure.
There were no bandages that I could see because the collar blocks. Yeah, most of it I could see. There are some holes in the collar that we could see some superficial lacerations through, but there was no active bleeding. Her wrists were already bandaged, so we don't take the bandages off after they're on.
Okay.
And there was no blood screws.
I ask the questions, you can answer them, okay? Narcan administered to Lindsay Clancy on the ground, yes?
Yes.
In the ambulance, but yes.
And there was no reaction. It didn't have any effect on her, right?
She appeared to become a little bit more, she started like reaching and grabbing a little bit more than she was before.
That's consistent as well with a person who's had a head injury, right?
Could be.
Yeah. So in any event, the Narcan that you're trained would be dealing with opioids, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, did you know, sir, at all that she suffered a burst fracture of a cervical spine? Did you know that, sir?
No.
T5 through T6, T4, 6, 7, 8, all exploded, fractured. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that there was hemorrhaging into her body, that she fractured every rib in her body?
No.
Yeah, so you guys are sharing stories of people that have, oof, that's so sad. I'm so sorry about that. One of my friend's dad fell off a 3-foot stool, broke his neck, and lost the ability to grab and hold things. Girl's paralyzed with damaged spinal cord just from her friend pulling a chair while she was going to sit down. That I can certainly understand, like dislocating, breaking, because it could be very fragile. But in terms of like shattering, is and the defense attorney is going over right now. Like she had some pieces that were just completely shattered. I'd be very interested to hear how much force it takes to shatter, pieces of your spine like that.
It was pretty dark out there, wasn't it?
It was.
Did you obviously administer aid to her, or did you also have like a flashlight on your head, or were you holding a flashlight, or what?
She was already packaged. She was already on the longboard and everything. So we picked her up, put her on the stretcher, and moved out of the backyard into the ambulance.
So how long did you handle, if you will, her while she was laying there?
On scene, we were only on scene for, I think it was 7 minutes, I think, total on scene from the time that we...
Chaotic?
Yes.
And it was dark in the backyard, right?
Yes.
There was no exterior lighting, nothing on the house that was lit up, like spotlights or anything, right?
That's correct.
No flashlights, right?
No.
And you scrutinized a hole in the thing that goes around the neck when someone has a head injury, especially a cervical injury, thoracic injuries. You scrutinized a hole that noted that there was a superficial wound to her neck.
That's all we could see through the side of the collar.
Who's we?
Me and my partner.
Was your partner scrutinizing the hole as well?
The hole, I don't...
You said there's a hole in that, in the thing that goes around the neck.
Yeah, there's holes in the collar that you can see through.
Right, and you were scrutinizing. You were looking through it, right?
Yeah.
It's called the jury, you saw
Yes.
superficial cut on the neck, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did your partner look through the hole as well? And you've talked about your testimony with the district attorneys in the past, haven't you?
Yes.
One of the things that they asked you is whether or not it appeared as though the injuries to her neck or wrist were superficial. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And other than looking through the little hole in the thing around her neck in the dark, you didn't see her neck after that was removed, did you?
No.
That's all you have.
Como, 3 direct.
All right. So, yes, that is the first witness that he cross-examined. We got to hear from law enforcement, firefighter, paramedics, and, no issues with their testimony. But with this testimony specifically, when the Commonwealth is asking about whether or not Lindsay was reactive when the 2 cans of Narcan was given to her, and then segued to asking about the benzodiazepines, and he's like, we're not trained to give, Narcan for benzos. And so the defense perked up because I think he's trying to push back and say, well, maybe Lindsay was not reactive to the Narcan because she was wrapped up in the wrist and she had, his words, not mine, the thing on her neck. And then not only that, the fact that, Lindsay also had these burst fractures on, he listed like a bunch of different parts of her spine that had these burst fractures. So maybe that's why she was unable to move and be responsive because of all the injuries that she had. That's what I think he's pushing right there. And then he was getting a little bit fiery about this paramedic saying that, maybe Lindsay's injuries were superficial. And he's like, well, when you got there, she had the thing on her neck and like you could barely see through the hole. Like, how could you tell that it was superficial? So I don't know. There was some back and forth through there. I don't know if it's like a hole or I don't know if it's just like, when you put like the neck brace on, maybe there's like a little slit where you could see, the injury of Lindsay's neck. And then he was like, well, was your partner scrutinizing the hole? Are you scrutinizing the hole? So it's the words that he is using where I think throws this paramedic off. He's like scrutinizing. I'm just telling you what I saw. Okay. I could see through it. I'm just telling you. Oh, that's true. Ground being frozen. They were outside playing in the snow. All right, I'm just going to go back just a tiny bit.
Yes.
And other than looking through the little hole in the thing around her neck in the dark, you didn't see her neck after that was removed, did you?
No.
That's all you have.
Commonwealth redirect.
Sir, after the 7 minutes that you were in the dark backyard, you were then in an ambulance for 18 minutes with the patient, correct?
That's correct.
And there's
Right.
lighting in the ambulance, correct?
There is.
And during those 18 minutes in the well-lit ambulance, did you ever see blood seeping through the bandages on her wrists?
No.
During those 18 minutes in the well-lit ambulance, did you ever see blood pooling around her neck or flowing from the neck?
No.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further? No. Okay. Thank you, sir. You may sit down. Thank you.
Clarification by the state. This defense attorney definitely gives me like, you know, like your old man vibes where it's like the thing, you know, the thing on the neck, or like you touched the little thing with the Wikipedia thing and then things just happen. It's like, wait, I think we need to be a little bit more specific. Okay, cervical collars are designed to have a hole, to watch the airway. Thanks, Katie. Let's look up to see what it looks like. I'm curious.
Commonwealth calls Daniel Doherty.
Same objection.
You testify.
Cervical collar. Oh, I mean, that's a pretty big hole. I had no idea what he was talking about. So when he was saying the hole, the thing, the hole, I mean, assuming that it's the same size, maybe it's a lot smaller, but I mean, that seems like a pretty decent hole that you can kind of see through. Can you guys see that? So I was thinking like a tiny little hole or something, or maybe like some sort of slit where like, you know, where it like attached together. But that looks like a pretty big hole. Assuming that they're the same. Maybe they're not. All right, y'all. Well, things got a little fiery with that one. Someone said earlier that I hope the defense does not put on a bunch of character witnesses. I don't know where I saw that, but I saw it somewhere. I do think that he is. He's going to call on people that are Lindsay's friends, family members, and people that work with her, people that are nurses, people that support her. So we are going to hear about Lindsay, and I don't know if that's going to be limited. We'll see. Pretty standard size. The size deviates a little bit based on the brand of the collar. Yeah, I don't know if I would call that a little hole. It seems like a pretty decent hole where you might be able to see someone's injury on their neck. But it was mentioned that the injury was it like her right side or the left side? I don't know. So maybe it's like not centered right here, but maybe it's more on the sides. He did show a picture in opening statements, but I don't remember where it was exactly.
Thank you. You may have a seat, sir.
Watch yourself, please.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Daniel Dougherty, Dougherty.
And your date of birth?
8/27/1986.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Fire Department?
5.5 years. Full
Shoot, I didn't
Duxbury
get
Fire
it.
Department.
Date of birth?
8/27/1986.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Fire Department?
5.5 years. Full time.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes.
And how long have you been a paramedic?
4 years.
And have you completed all the training and education and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
I was.
And were you working a 24-hour shift?
Yes.
What was your role that day on shift?
Firefighter paramedic.
And sometime after 6 p.m., did you respond to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes.
And when you responded, who was with you?
Firefighter Heath was driving and Firefighter Nudd was in the back.
And so you're in ambulance 1 at that time?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And when you arrive at 47 Summer Street, what do you see?
There was 2 police cruisers either blocking the driveway or near it. So we pulled ahead of it, stopped the truck, and got out.
And did you head to get equipment and head to the backyard?
Yes.
And what did you see in the backyard?
We had Officer Hall kind of directing us towards the side of to the side gate, and from there we went around to the back of the house.
And did you see a female on the ground?
We did.
And did you learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
Do you recall what she was wearing?
I believe it was jeans and a tank top.
Did she also have socks on?
I believe so.
And did you examine her or assess her once you reached her?
Yes.
And what, if any, injuries did you observe?
She had lacerations to both wrists as well as her neck.
And were those lacerations actively bleeding?
No.
Can you describe the lacerations that you saw on her neck?
There was dried blood, seemed to be somewhat superficial since there was no active bleed.
And what about the cuts on her wrists?
Same.
And would you say same? Are you saying that there was no active bleeding there?
Correct.
Okay. And what, if
really
anything,
hammer
did
it
you
in?
do to treat those wounds?
We bandaged them up. I believe we placed a ABD pad, just a sterile pad on her neck as well.
You said an APD or a sterile pad. Is that just a type of like gauze or something that you put on the wound?
Yes.
Okay. And so you did that, and then you bandaged the wrists, or vice versa?
It was the wrist first, I believe. But we did secure the airway first before bandaging her wrist.
Okay. So when you first arrived, is she breathing on her own?
She was.
Was she responsive?
Somewhat.
What does that mean?
Not totally responsive. Pretty much to painful stimuli.
And what is painful stimuli?
As we were moving her, she somewhat regained consciousness on us.
And painful stimuli, is that when someone reacts physically or verbally to pain?
Yes.
And so you said that you assess her when you first get there. You said you did the airway first, is that right?
Yes.
And how did you go about doing that?
We placed an OPA device to secure her tongue down just to protect her airway.
What's an OPA device?
It's a plastic device that depresses the tongue just to keep the airway open.
Okay. So it's not the tube that goes down?
No.
It's just something that holds the tongue down?
That's correct.
Okay. And after you did that, what was the next step?
We placed a non-rebreather air mask on her and set the oxygen.
So is that just a mask that goes on the face providing oxygen?
Yes.
And then what did you do next?
From there, that's when we heard the scream.
And so did you bandage the neck and the wrist before the breathing, securing the breathing, or after?
That was after.
Okay, so just to be clear, first is securing the tongue down, putting the oxygen mask on, and then you did the bandaging?
That came later, yes.
Later, okay. So was the bandaging before or after you heard the screams?
That was after.
Okay. So when you hear the screaming, what, if anything, do you do?
I looked at Captain Hussey and Firefighter Heath, and we kind of all looked at each other, trying to figure out what was going on.
Okay. And did any of you leave the area after hearing the screaming?
Captain Hussey did. Firefighter Heath went to go get a backboard for the patient.
Okay. And did you stay with Lindsay Clancy?
I did.
Okay. And then is it at that point that you do the bandaging, or after you get the backboard?
Kevin was gone for a while, so that's when I started bandaging up her wrists.
Okay. And did he eventually return with the backboard?
He did not.
So you bandage the wrists. What happens next?
I believe it was Officer Hall came to the backyard. He asked if I needed anything. I told him the board, kind of gave him a direction of where in the truck it was. And then he also left to go grab that for me.
And when you say the board, are you referring to the backboard?
Yes.
And did he return with the backboard?
Yes.
And was Miss Clancy loaded onto the backboard?
She was.
And who assisted you with that?
It was Officer Hall, I believe, and our retired deputy.
And is there a process that you follow when placing someone onto a board to ensure that that you don't cause further damage?
Yes.
And what is that process?
Just C-spine precautions. So you secure the neck and kind of make sure that it's immobilized as you kind of move the patient.
So what did you do to secure her neck?
We had someone at her neck. I don't remember who it was. Just kind of hold steady that her neck didn't move in the process.
Okay. And then did you follow that protocol, the C-spine protocol, to safely put her onto the backboard?
Yes,
Okay. And at some point was a collar placed around her neck?
I believe so, yes.
And then what happened next?
I believe I got on the radio and asked our captain who was transporting first, because we knew that there was multiple patients at that point.
Okay. And what were you told?
Pembroke was on its way in. They may have just arrived, and she was going with Pembroke.
Okay. And were you part of the team that transported her from the backyard to the Pembroke ambulance?
Yes.
And did you help load her into the Pembroke ambulance?
Yes.
And did you go with them during that transport?
I did not.
What is happening? Geez. Short day today.
After Ms. Clancy was loaded into the ambulance, did it leave?
Yes.
What did you do next?
I went to our ambulance that was in the driveway at that point.
Okay. And was Dawson Clancy in that ambulance?
He was.
And did you ride in the ambulance to the hospital with Dawson Clancy?
I did.
What was your role in that ambulance?
I was operating the bag valve mask for him.
Okay. So you're trying to provide oxygen to him through the bag valve mask? Okay. And was his care then transferred to Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth medical staff?
Yes.
I bet the scream was gut wrenching. Yeah. And the people who heard it when on the 911 call. Hey, Katie, that's good to know. RN, EMT of 14 years. At least in my experience, if you suspect any OD, you give the Narcan. You never know exactly what someone may have taken, and if the OD is not from opiates, Narcan does nothing. I don't know. The defense just irked me with the questions. Did you know she had a burst fracture? No, dude, we don't keep x-rays in an ambulance, my guy. Good to know, Katie.
Anything further?
Attorney Reddington?
Tell me again, you an EMT, a paramedic, or
Paramedic.
Paramedic.
Mm-hmm.
And how long do you study for that?
2 years plus.
Would that be full-time studying, or are you working at the same time?
I was working at the same time.
Do you know on that evening what the temperature was outside?
It was cold.
Wicked cold, wasn't it?
Mid-30s.
It was lower than that, wasn't it?
I couldn't. It was a couple.
It was really cold.
Ooh, are we going to get into temperatures possibly slowing down blood flow? Maybe that's why she wasn't actively bleeding. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
And how long was she laying in the snow and on the ground?
We got the call at 6-ish or whatever time it was. We
and
responded.
The call came because her husband came home from picking up food and found her on the ground, right?
Correct.
So you don't know how long she was laying in the snow on the ground, right?
No.
In the cold?
Correct.
And what's hemostasis? Do you know?
What's that?
What's hemostasis? What does that mean?
Just the coagulation.
And you know what the effect of hypothermia? Let me ask you, what's hypothermia?
It's just the body under temperature of the body.
Under temperature of the body?
Or
the camera just slipped.
Body is not at temperature that it should be.
Right, because of the environment, right? Cold, right?
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes it can be
So maybe it's really cold, blood is not flowing as much.
medically induced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothermia affects the blood flow, doesn't it?
Yes.
In fact, you actually have a thing called therapeutic hypothermia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they have to restrict the blood flow to either a heart or a brain or something, that a person can be induced medically to be cold,
yes.
and it would restrict blood flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wonder if this is something that he just thought of, because it's curious that he didn't bring that up with the other witnesses.
So all these questions about whether or not there's blood seeping through the wrist bandages and whether or not there's blood through the holes on the neck brace, you don't know what effect the hypothermia, if any, had on that, would you?
No.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Redirect.
Sir, there's typically heat in a hospital, correct?
Usually, yes.
And were you aware that, Ms. Clancy went to South Shore Hospital, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that the wounds on her wrist did not have to be sutured until the following day?
I didn't get any of that information after.
Were you aware that the wound on her neck never had to be sutured?
Same answer.
Thank you.
Anything further?
Oh, interesting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Step down. Thank you.
It's a pretty good one for the state. because the defense attorney, when he did show pictures of Lindsay's her cuts, the one that looked the worst to me was the wrist one, because there was a part where it looked like, I don't know if it was like, I have to look at it again, it was like a flap of flesh or something like that. That one looked the most craziest to me. But my gut reaction when I first saw those, having seen some really crazy injuries, I was just like, oh yeah, they don't look that bad. But I don't know, the picture wasn't like super clear.
Commonwealth calls Vincent Cahill.
Vincent Cahill.
You may testify.
Right, witness number 13. My ex-boyfriend father was the first cop on the scene when, Andrew Yates committed a horrible crime. He struggled for years after witnessing the aftermath. My heart truly goes out to the first responders.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, all right.
Girl, how are you?
Sure.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Vincent Cahill, to be Vincent. Last name Cahill, that'll be Cahill.
And your date of birth, please.
11/11/1996.
Where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been with
You
the
said 96? Oh man, he a young man.
Duxbury Police Department?
About 5.5 years.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you on patrol?
Yes.
And directing your attention further to approximately 6:11 p.m., were you dispatched to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you arrived there, well, how long did it take you to get there approximately?
A couple minutes.
And when you arrived there, what did you see?
When I arrived there, I saw a cruiser in the driveway, as well as an ambulance and a fire captain.
And did you head to the backyard?
Yes.
Sorry, my allergies are like off the charts right now. Oh my goodness. I'm dying over here sneezing.
And did you see a woman on the ground there being cared for?
Yes.
And did you later learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
At some point, do you hear or did you hear loud screaming?
Yes.
And as a result of that, did you go inside the home?
Yes.
And did you go to the basement area?
Yes.
And when you went down the basement stairs, did you go to the right or the left?
I initially went to the right, and I was following the father.
So as you're going down the stairs, you say the father, is that Patrick Clancy?
Yes.
Do you see him as you're going down the basement stairs?
Yes.
And where is he coming from and where is he going to?
It's coming from my left, heading to my right.
And what is his demeanor?
He was screaming.
And as you came down the stairs, did he point in a direction?
Yes.
Where did he point to?
To the left side.
And is that where you headed?
Yes.
And when you went to the left, did you see two children on the floor in that area of the basement?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I checked the pulse of the 5-year-old girl and passed that information along. And then when fire came on scene, I then was backing away because fire was going to start taking over, taking care of the 5-year-old girl. I then backed into the infant who was on the ground.
So you said that you checked the 5-year-old. Was that Cora Clancy?
Yes.
You checked her for a pulse. Did she have a pulse?
No.
And you said fire came down and started taking over. Was that firefighters from Duxbury Fire Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said you started backing up. Is that when you bumped into Callan Clancy?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that point in time, what did you do next?
I checked Callan's pulse.
And did he have a pulse?
No.
Did firefighters take over care of Callan?
Yes.
At that point, did you do something to make it easier for the people to fit in the room and treat the children?
Yes, I moved a large futon or ottoman, piece of furniture.
And I'm showing you Exhibit 96, directing your attention to the couch bed and the ottoman on top of it. Were you the one that placed that ottoman on top of the couch bed?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that going to be important somehow? Is there a dispute about like, the crime scene, how things were found, things were rearranged?
After that, were you asked to help get some equipment for the children?
Yes.
And did you do that?
Yes.
And did you bring the equipment to the basement?
Yes.
And after that, did you assist with getting Cora to the ambulance?
I assisted with rescue breaths with Cora as well as CPR. I aided with Officer Josephine.
And how were you doing the rescue breaths and the CPR?
I was using a bag valve mask. Myself and Officer Josephine were timing it every couple seconds. It was 15 seconds. I was doing rescue breaths on Cora.
Okay. And at some point, she's taken out of the basement into an ambulance, correct?
Yes.
Did you assist with that?
I don't recall.
And at any point, did she regain a pulse or ability to breathe while you were helping to assist her? At some point in time, were you given the task of monitoring who came into the scene and who left the scene
Yes.
Throughout the night?
Yes.
And showing you what's entitled Crime Scene Entry and Exit Log. Is this the form that you were in charge of just documenting every time someone came to the scene or left the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
If I could have this marked as the next exhibit, please.
Any objection? No. All right, that may be admitted.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Counsel? No. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if we may approach sidebar.
Sure.
Okay, so they are going to go on a sidebar, and you might be surprised, but or maybe you're not surprised because of how this trial has been so far. And I'm not blaming anyone. I know things happened, but it's pretty much it for the day. We're gonna go through some tweets to see maybe we can get some inside court happenings.
Hammer. So there's a couple of issues that we have to kind of hammer out and get done. And rather than have you wait around, I'm not quite sure how long that's going to go.
Now, initially, I thought he was going to say, hey, we're going to go on an early lunch and you guys have a nice long lunch today and then we'll come back to resume testimony. But it seems like there's something happening. Maybe there's some arguments that are being made right now and the attorneys have to hammer it out with the judge. We don't know, but
I'm going to excuse you for the day.
yeah,
all right?
that.
As I told you, sometimes the schedules don't always match up what I tell you they're going to do even a couple hours before. So I'm going to excuse you until tomorrow morning. All right, and so tomorrow morning, the plan is that we're going to go on this view. And I'll explain it a little bit more in detail tomorrow, but just so you can kind of picture it in your head, I'm going to ask you to be here, to be ready to come out here at 9 o'clock. I'm going to address you, probably ask you those same questions. Then I'll give you a little bit of information about the view. I'll give you an instruction. What the view is, we're going to go to a couple of areas. You're going to be able to get out and look at these areas. The lawyers will be there. They'll be able to point out what they feel is significant. And at that point, we'll then come back. We'll consider continue with some of the testimony. We may end up a little bit early tomorrow as well in regards to the schedules. And at that point, I'm going to talk to counsel, kind of see where we are in regards to the overall schedule. But it's my impression that we are ahead of schedule at this point.
What?
So I just kind of wanted to let you.
They're ahead of schedule? How? I have a hard time believing that. We've been starting late. The lunch breaks have been pretty long. Some of the days ended like 2 hours early. We haven't been going to 4 p.m. And then today we've only been in court for how long? How long was today's session? Like maybe an hour and a half?
You know that. So I'm going to excuse you where we are in regard. We may end up a little bit early tomorrow as well.
Oh, may end a little bit early tomorrow. Okay.
You're going to be able to get out and look at these areas. The lawyers will be there. They'll be able to point out what they feel is significant. And at that point, we'll then come back. We'll consider continue with some of the testimony. We may end up a little bit early tomorrow as well in regards to the schedules. And at that point, I'm going to talk to counsel, kind of see where we are in regards to the overall schedule. But it's my impression that we are ahead of schedule.
Ahead of schedule. That's crazy.
So I just kind of wanted to let you know that. So I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow morning rather than have you sit here and just kind of wait in regards to that. So I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow. I'd ask you to be here at 9, check the weather, see, but you'll be on the view in the morning, and then there'll be some witnesses in the afternoon. All right, so remember, I'm going to ask you those questions. Don't read anything, don't talk about it, don't do any research, don't take any field trips, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay? Thank you.
Court, all right. Sure, close your notebooks, wait some on the chairs, please. Follow me.
All right. Well, hi, Laura. Well, welcome. You caught up. Well, he says that they're ahead of schedule, and this case was slated for 4 to 6 weeks, so maybe he means it's going to be 4 weeks.
All right.
Well, here's the thing. We did go through a lot of testimony today. You know how typically sometimes in other trials when we have law enforcement officers, they take a while, you know, they'll ask about like, what's your background? Like, okay, how long was your training? What are you trained in? I think we went pretty quick today. There were some questions that were asked. They were a little more extensive with the paramedics, but it wasn't too bad. Maybe like, you know, it spent like maybe 2 to 3 minutes.
In recess until tomorrow. The court, the media, the court had issued previously a specific order regarding the view. There's a supplemental order issued this morning, so everybody should just be aware of that. And I want to thank everybody for their consideration, and we'll be in recess until tomorrow morning.
Court, all right. Okay, folks, can we clear the courtroom, please?
All right. So today was like 2.5 hours, I would say, of court stuff. But then we also had some long sidebars. I don't know. You know what? Since we have so much time the rest of the week, I am going to do a recap of days 2 and 3 in one video then. Right? Yeah, I guess I'll do that. And then maybe day 3 will be a standalone. It'll probably be very, very short. So I will do a recap of what happened today in case you guys missed it, or in case you were here and maybe you may have snoozed off in some parts, or if you were, you know, busy multitasking, which is great. You should always be multitasking when you're watching these trials. It's a lot to absorb. There's a lot that's happening. All right, y'all. So, I mean, let's start off where the judge left off, where they are going to do a viewing tomorrow. So tomorrow we get to sleep in, you know, we don't have to be here bright and early, 5, 6 a.m. And they are, I don't know. He said different areas. So I don't know if he meant like different areas at the house, for example, the front yard, the basement, the bedroom, the kitchen, all that stuff. Or if you meant different areas as in, we're going to go to the house. We're going to go to 3V, the restaurant. We're going to go to CVS, which I don't think that's really necessary because there's Google Maps, right? We don't really see where Patrick was when this was happening. We'll find out more about it, I guess, maybe tomorrow. Now, today we started with law enforcement, paramedics, firefighter paramedics for the first time today. So far, we've only heard from Patrick Clancy and then the employee at the restaurant and CVS. And was there another one? I think just 3, right? Yeah, just those 3. Today was when we started hearing from, you know, people that were responding to the scene. So we start off with Officer Stephen Hall. Now, during his testimony, you can tell that it was hard for him to have to recall what he saw, to relive hearing Patrick's screams, to hear, you know, and to see, you know, the children on the basement floor. Should I make the screen big? I guess I could. Oh, God, it's so bright over here. Let me turn it down. And so he mentioned, sorry, let me just fix this first. Here, there you go. He mentioned that he saw Lindsay on the ground. She was on her back. And, you know, throughout all the different testimonies, we are going to hear over and over again. And again, these, you know, the Commonwealth is following this theme that Lindsay's injuries, well, without talking about her spine, but Lindsay's self-inflicted injuries with the sharp knife, well, it seems like they weren't actively bleeding. The one on the wrist, the one on the neck. And again, the Commonwealth called it superficial in their opening statement. The officers are going to talk about how, they each went down to the basement and how initially they thought the call was for and paramedics too, and how they thought the call was for, a woman who had jumped off the window. But as they, respond to the scene, they realized, no, there are 3 victims that are in the basement. So they did not expect that. And because of that, they had to call for additional people to respond to the scene. Initially, they only had 1 ambulance. They had to do a recall of 2 other ambulances to come help because they would have to transport Lindsay to one place and then the children to the other hospital. So they went through, going through the scene, finding the children. The children were described. They've seen a lot of crime scenes in the past, right? They know that while you're trying to perform these life-saving measures, that it's the outlook is very grim. The children were described as like bluish, pale, with marks on their neck. And it was just a very upsetting scene for them to walk into. There was one testimony that mentioned that, there was a guy that was upstairs that couldn't go back into the house because he was, upset. But yeah, I mean, very rough scene to walk into. They again kept showing pictures of the side of the house, the window. There was like the blood that was on there, and it's hard for us to see, but I'm sure it's better for the jury. So we're trying to see, how the blood on the house. When we have a maybe like not what do you call them again? Not like a crime scene technician, I guess. I was thinking like blood splatter specialist. But when we have an expert that's going to testify about the blood and how it got there, maybe we'll see, because the state is hammering that, Lindsay may have tried to slid on the side of the house. I don't know. I'm still not really quite sure yet. But the defense is going, they went pretty hard about it in their opening statement that Lindsay did not indeed Spider-Man on the side of the house. She did not try to minimize the jump, right? They talked about how they, encountered Lindsay, and Lindsay was mumbling a lot. She was not giving definitive answers. And again, everyone there felt like Patrick included, they all said that her wounds were not actively bleeding. They didn't feel the need to use like a tourniquet or gauze or anything like that. One mentioned that they didn't think that it was life-threatening. Everyone talks about how they heard a scream. How they were all called because of the scream to the basement area. It went through the different testimonies of different firefighter paramedics and how they, basically cared for each child, whether it was trying to perform CPR, whether it was trying to, hook them up onto other machines or transport them over to the hospital. We had, trying to see. There was one, Robert Costanza was when the defense finally was doing cross-examinations. For the most part, most of the people that testified, there was no cross-examination. The defense is not disputing that, yeah, Lindsay was found in this condition. Although they are disputing whether or not the wounds are superficial. But they're not disputing, how the children were found, or I guess the condition that they were in. But it wasn't until we got to witness number 11, which was, 5 witnesses later on, Robert Costanza, who is a firefighter paramedic, and this is when the state asked about the Narcan. So he transported Lindsay, in the ambulance and gave her 2 Narcans, said that she became agitated, but she never fully woke up. So I don't know, based on what I see in the movies, and I don't know if that tracks in real life, but like sometimes when you see like someone's giving Narcan and they're like, "Whoa, I'm okay, I'm up," like they're more alert. But in cross-examination, the defense perked up and was like, "Oh, well, when she was given Narcan, well, wasn't she wrapped on the wrist and staying on her neck?" And so I think he was trying to say that her movement was constricted because she had all these things that were on her. And then additionally, he brings up about, the burst fractures that she had in her spine, and that maybe that's why she couldn't really be as responsive and move around, because she, the injury that she had in her spine. He also talks about, and this is when I don't know if he just thought about it with this witness, where he's like, "Oh, maybe I should really push back on these wounds not being superficial," or if he just decided to only do it once with this witness so it's not as repetitive. I don't know. But he asked this paramedic firefighter, was like, "Oh, hey, isn't it dark outside? There's no exterior lighting." It's like, "Yeah, okay, well, you're basically judging this superficial cut on her neck through a hole that you're scrutinizing through, right? And there was confusion, I think, on the paramedic's face because he's like, I'm not really scrutinizing. I'm just telling you like what I observe. And he's like, well, was your partner scrutinizing the hole as well? So there was a little bit of back and forth exchange about, small little hole where it's like, how can you see the cut on Lindsay's neck through that small little hole? But, I don't think it's that big of a deal here because we've heard even from Patrick that Lindsay's wounds were not actively bleeding. No need to put pressure on it. So there's back and forth about that. And then I looked up what the cervical neck brace looked like and I showed you guys. And it seems like, maybe depends on the brand, like what Katie says, right? Maybe the hole could vary in sizes. But the one that we pulled up, it looked like it's like not like a tiny little hole, but it seems like it's a pretty decent sized hole. Maybe you would be able to see. And then in redirect by the state, the Commonwealth said that, well, you were in the backyard that was dark for 7 minutes. Okay, sure. But weren't you in the ambulance for 18 minutes? And isn't it very well lit? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, you didn't see any blood seeping through her wrist or, any pooling on her neck. And he was like, no, I didn't. Then we got to witness number 12, another firefighter paramedic. And again, going to reiterate that Lindsay's lacerations were not actively bleeding, neck, the wrist, they were the same. Dry blood seems superficial. Again, he talks about hearing the scream, and then we get a cross-examination by the defense. So this is the defense's second cross-examination today, where he's like, tell me again, are you like an EMT or a paramedic? And the guy's like, oh, I'm a paramedic. Okay, like, what's your training like? I think maybe trying to show that, oh, maybe this paramedic doesn't know much about, how blood works when it's cold outside. And so he was like, what's the temperature outside? And the paramedic's like, it's cold. He's like, yeah, it's below 30s, right? It's like really cold that night. He's like, yeah, it was pretty cold. And he was like, well, you don't know how long Lindsay was laying on the ground, right? You don't know that. Like, no, I don't know that. And he's like, well, do you know what hemostasis is? You know about hypothermia? And hypothermia? And do you know how this could affect the blood flow? You don't know what effect hypothermia might have. And maybe that's why she wasn't actively bleeding. And then the state redirects back and says, well, there is heat in a hospital, right? And the wounds did not need to be sutured until the following day. The wound that was on her wrist. And it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting to know. And then, in fact, the neck never had to be sutured. It's like, oh, okay, well, these are good points that are raised by the state. Then our last witness of the day was Duxbury PD, Vincent Cahill. Again, he talks about hearing the loud scream, checking on the pulses of the children, and then moving a large futon. And then we ended early. Now, I'm not going to blame the court. We don't know why they're ending early. Maybe there's some stuff that happened. Maybe there's some, some crucial arguments that has to be made on either side. I don't know. We don't know. But this court schedule has been very interesting because he said that we are ahead of schedule. And I'm like, how are we ahead of schedule? We ended like 2 days, like 2 hours early on some days. They're supposed to go to maybe 4. Maybe they went through the testimonies of the law enforcement and the paramedics a lot faster than they initially anticipated. But they're like, yeah, we're ahead of schedule. It's like, oh, okay. Good to know. So, yeah, I don't know. Massachusetts. I'm not saying I don't want to blame Massachusetts, but I remember we had some very interesting scheduling in a different courtroom in Massachusetts as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. We did a recap of day 1. If you guys haven't seen it yet, check it out. I'll do a recap of day 2s and day 3 today. I'll just mash it together. And then day 4 tomorrow is when they're going to do their viewing. We don't know where they're going, but we do know that they are going to be going to the house. I don't know if they're going anywhere else. We'll have to see. At least she's showing more emotion than just contempt, unlike Corey Richards. Yeah, I don't know if it's just when the camera pans over, but every time when we see Lindsay, when the camera's like showing her, she looks very, very tense. She looks very, upset, or sometimes her head is down. You can't really see what she's emoting. I wonder if they want to the view before the next witness, like when they did the call and the close. I mean, I think because we've heard of testimony from so many people that responded to the scene, now it's like, okay, jury, now it's your time to see what the scene was like. Maybe the distance of the window from the ground, maybe the distance from the basement to the primary bedroom. Yeah, all of that. All right. Depends on what and how much they took. I've had times where I've given one dose and they woke up and tried to punch me no. Sometimes I gave multiple doses and had no effect. It varies by case. Gotcha. I just remember that scene. I think it was adrenaline that they pumped into her. You guys remember that movie, Pulp Fiction? Pulp Fiction? Yeah. That one scene when Uma was she was overdosing, but they like gave like an adrenaline to the chest or like I think directly to the heart or something. And she's like, "Poof." And that's how I imagine with when you administer Narcan, they just like wake up like that. Alrighty, guys. Well, yeah, that's it for today. It's a very short court day. I will do the recap. I also want to work on some Koberger stuff. As you guys have heard, Brian Koberger wants to essentially renege on his plea deal and was like, "Hey, I was forced to do this. I blame my attorney, Ann Taylor. She was incompetent. She didn't tell me about this, and I was coerced to essentially put in this plea deal, and things were promised to me that were untrue." So we heard about it 2-3 days ago, and I wanted to take a look into it some more and look at some old court documents and stuff like that. But I do want to put a video on that. So I don't know, maybe it'll be done today, maybe tomorrow. We'll have to see. It seems like I've got some time to kill today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, keep an eye out. The best way to really have your notifications go off is just join the Discord. I think those are the best way. YouTube, I don't know, have your notifications on as well. Click the bell button, hit the all, and then that way you guys know when I go live. But I think I like Discord notifications. I think they're pretty consistent. Oh, but before I go, I do want to go see people's suites. So these are people that are in the courtroom. They are reporting live. Nate's probably my favorite that's there. Let's see if Nate rates anything. Nate. After hearing from 2 or more first responders. Oh, sorry. Let me switch this. Let me switch the scene. Okay. After hearing from after hearing from 2 more first responders who described treating the children without success, the judge excuses the jury until tomorrow when they will be going on a jury view. Which will include a couple of areas. Yeah, I'm wondering what does a couple of areas mean? Judge says they will return to the courtroom following the view for more testimony and expects to end early tomorrow. Also, we have a Jessica Machado who's also in the courtroom. Oh no, they are not in the courtroom. Okay. Kathy's in the courtroom. Kathy. Judge will do the viewing. We'll come back, go to 3 or 4. That's the most information that we have right now. Well, that's it for today. It looks like the CW ran out of witnesses. Oh, is that why? Oh, okay. So maybe they expected to take the entire day today with what? I don't know. That just sounds like that sounds like poor planning. Maybe something happened in that very, very, very long sidebar, and the state was supposed to go way longer, and the judge was like, you know what? Let's not do that. I don't know. We're just guessing here. Don't want to, point fingers at anyone, but if that is the case, then interesting. All right. So looks like that's it. Oh my gosh, this is the kids making the snowman. Oh yeah. So I think Kathy Russin. Hope I pronounced the last name right. They are posting some of the exhibits from the trial. Okay. I think Hidden True Crime is here. Yep. Days 3. Windy, foggy day in Massachusetts. Anything else? All right. Christina Rex. So far, prosecutors have called 8 first responders who were at the scene. Defense object to this repeatedly, calling the testimony repetitive and prejudicial since Clancy doesn't dispute what happened. Judge allowing the witnesses. So that is the long sidebar. That is the long sidebar. Wonder why they didn't just make that argument in, because they obviously made the argument in front of the people that were in the courtroom. So why not just, did they excuse the jury and then brought them back in? Is that why they took so long? Maybe. All right. Well, that is, I think that's it. I think those are the people that we're following. So tomorrow they are going to be going here. 47 Summer Street, Duxbury. Beautiful blue house. We've seen pictures of it already in the courtroom, kitchen, and oh, you know what? Can we see where the basement door is? Now that we know where the basement door is, I don't know if I can see the basement door. I don't think I could see it. I think you could I think the basement door is right here, right? I think it's right there. but I cannot. Which is fine. We've seen pictures of the basement already. But yeah, here is the layout of the house. That's the window. The window. Also, what annoys me about this house is why are the windows aligned like this? Seems like funky architecture design. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your morning. I don't know. Any questions or anything in the chat so far? Any questions before we head out? Any clarifications? Anything that you may have missed? Someone also mentioned earlier, did the paramedics say that she heard the children something about a hanging, right? So, I mean, it's possible that they thought it was what happened initially. So that might have been like the initial impression that maybe someone had. Yeah. Side of her neck. Yeah, that's what I was going back to, Kelly. I was going back to the defense's opening. Because we heard it was either the left side or the right side. So I don't know if it was like it started on the left or right side, but then you could still see it from the middle. If you go back to opening statement, in the defense's opening statement, he showed pictures. So you could see on what side of the neck it was. Something happened on my folders where I had a day one folder and it disappeared. I checked the garbage, the trash, it's gone. I don't know where it is. I checked to see if I accidentally renamed it or if I moved it somewhere. It's completely gone. It's, yeah, I don't know. But there is a picture of it that the defense attorney did show in opening. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for today. I hope you guys have a good one. Take care. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have your notifications on so you guys know when we go live. But I'm assuming they're probably going to do lunch, maybe the same time, maybe from 1 to 2 their time, and maybe they'll be back after 2 p.m. So 2 p.m. Eastern is when I'm assuming they are going to be back. And he did say it's going to be a short court day. So I don't know if it's going to be, they're just going to be, maybe we're just live for 1 hour tomorrow. The middle one is a bathroom. They went over which window was which. I don't remember, but it just seems really funky to design your windows like that. Like the front looks even, right? Windows are all the same size, but the back is like the windows are like everywhere. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Anyways, y'all, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for watching it together. Sometimes, you guys have all your different opinions in the chat, but it's good to read and see what people are thinking. And sometimes you guys bring in some new perspectives that I just don't even think of. And I'm like, oh, that's actually a good point. Because yesterday I was getting a little agitated with the Commonwealth when she was trying to make it out that, or seemingly trying to make it out that Lindsay was this control freak when she was leaving notes for the nanny. And I was like, well, it's like for like her baby, it's her, like, it's like if the baby cries, do this. If the baby, this doesn't work, then do that. It's like, I didn't think it was a big deal, or even the chopping vegetables, right? Some of you guys are like, oh, telling her to cut 1 inch. I'm like, I didn't think it was a big deal. I think it's, if someone tells me to cut vegetables, I want to know what size. Give me the details. But anyway, so it's always good to see what you guys think and to see all the different opinions here. But I appreciate you guys being here, being respectful to each other. And other than that, I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one. And yeah, I'll try to make a video today so it recaps the past 2 days. We'll see. Alrighty. See you later. See you later.